latest next from ABC News. In sports, U.S. and Belgium meet in the World Cup. And in business,
more gains today on Wall Street on a rebound in chip maker stocks. The Dow closing at a new all-time high, up 157 points. The Nasdaq up 288. The S&P adding 54. I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg.
A mostly sunny 79 at both airports at 4 o'clock. Here now is ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Another allegation against the Maine Democratic Senate candidate. ABC News has not independently verified the claim, which has been published online. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portman.
The sexual assault allegation is made by a woman who dated Graham Plattner on and off for more than 2 years. She tells Politico in late 2021, Plattner entered her home while drunk and forced himself on her. While the Democrat challenging incumbent Senator Susan Collins says in a video message that the allegation is false.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward.
Under state law in Maine, Plattner has a week to decide whether to withdraw from the race in time for the party to put someone else's name on the November ballot. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump heads to a NATO summit in Turkey later today, where Ukraine President Zelensky is expected to ask alliance members for more interceptor missiles. Canada says it has selected Germany's ThyssenKrupp marine systems to build 12 submarines, boost defense spending to meet NATO targets. An oil glut could lower gasoline prices. The U.S. has been removing mines from the southern route of the Strait of Hormuz, with more tankers passing through, and that is expected to lower oil prices, gasoline prices, and diminish any leverage Iran has at talks with the U.S. That from ABC News contributor and former State Department official Steve Gander.
Frankly, President Trump can let this go on forever because people don't want to think about the nuclear problem. They're going to say, I don't want my total at the gas pump to be so high.
Saying FIFA's judicial bodies are independent and autonomous. The head of soccer's governing body, in a statement, essentially denying he had any influence over the decision to reverse a red card suspension so the top U.S. scorer can play in tonight's game against Belgium. President Trump phoned the head of soccer's governing body about it.
All I did was ask for a review. I didn't say you have to do this.
You're listening to ABC News.
Yeah, but he's the best scorer, right? That's the kind of corruption we want. That's good corruption. That's American for us.
Another country had to eliminate something, yeah.
And they overturned it?
Yeah.
So it's fair, right?
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, thank you. I got a couple more minutes to do whatever I need to do. But that's a soccer player. He's the top player of the United States. He was red carded, meaning he was thrown out of the last game and today's game, a future game. So Trump called him and said, yeah, you should look at that, and they reversed it. So that's a good thing for us. Hey, USA.
All the ref is not fair. Just taking the side.
Is offering $250 off projects of $2,500 or more. Scheduled by July 10.
Yeah.
Let freedom and fresh paint reign. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa.
Yes, there's a lot of corruption in our society, but when it benefits
worldwide,
when it benefits the whole United States, we can say, yeah, it's kind of good corruption. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to look at the ethical concerns of that. Aristotle and Socrates. This is the news.
Monday, July 6th, 2026. Good afternoon. I'm Haley Hansen. Thanks for kicking off your work week with us. It's currently 73 degrees along Chicago's lakefront under mostly sunny skies with a lovely start to the week following a holiday weekend full of rain. We're going to continue to see mainly clear skies as we head into tonight with temperatures dropping in the 60s. Both your Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be sunny and hot with highs in the upper 80s. We are, however, tracking more storms later this week. The full details are going to be in the AccuWeather 5-day forecast coming up at 4:15. But first, our top local story here on News Radio WBBM. The former deputy convicted of shooting Springfield resident Sonia Massey to death wants to be released from prison early. WBBM's Sarah Herrera has that story.
It's been 2 years since 36-year-old Sonia Massey, a black woman, was fatally shot after calling 911 to report a possible prowler outside her Springfield home. Capital News Illinois reports Sean Grayson, who is serving a 20-year sentence for second-degree murder, has petitioned for compassionate release under Illinois' Joe Coleman Act. His attorney says the 32-year-old has stage 4 colon cancer that has spread to his liver and lungs. Massey's family is urging the Illinois Prisoner Review Board to deny the request. A hearing is scheduled for July 31st. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The death toll from last week's heat wave in the Chicago area is now up to 4.
The Cook County Medical Examiner has ruled heat stress played a role in the deaths of 3 people in Chicago and 1 man in Evanston last week. 44-year-old David Gonzalez died on the 4th from heat stroke complicated by hypertension, diabetes, and obesity, as first reported by the Sun-Times. Autopsies showed heat stress was a contributing factor in the deaths of 57-year-old Mike Rodriguez and 71-year-old Barbara Wigham, as well as cardiovascular disease. A 69-year-old man from Evanston, who's yet to be identified, also had heat stress and cardiovascular disease as contributing factors. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A 27-year-old woman who was biking was killed in a hit-and-run in the far northwest suburbs. Police in Hampshire say she was hit by a vehicle on US 20 between Big Timber and Gast Roads at around 12:40 a.m. The woman from Pingree Grove was pronounced dead at the scene. Police so far have not identified any suspects in that case. Authorities still don't know how 2 Chicago sisters suddenly disappeared 25 years ago today.
10-year-old Tianda Bradley and her 3-year-old sister Diamond had left a note for their working mom that they were leaving their apartment on 35th and Cottage Grove, going to a store, and then off to a playground. They haven't been seen since that day.
It's so hurtful to even think that it went past a year.
That's Shalia Bradley Smith, the girl's great aunt.
25 years, a quarter of a century, more than 2 decades, and we're still nowhere with finding those girls.
Shalia Bradley Smith says she and other relatives still talk, cry, and pray over Tianda and Diamond's disappearance.
Yep.
Tianda and Diamond's pictures and computerized aging images of them remain posted on the website of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It's 4:06. Police say a 4-legged officer helped catch 3 suspects in Lake County, Illinois.
The 911 call came in around 11 p.m. from someone who claimed a flatbed trailer they had rented was never returned, and that a GPS tracking device picked it up near an unincorporated Libertyville business.
Good seeing you.
County Sheriff's deputies responded to the area.
What's up?
Spotted 2 people attempting to steal 2 skid steers by loading them onto them.
All right, so get you some clothes. Then you said 10, size 10 or 11, right? All right, give me a little time because the holiday happened. Let me get some stuff together, and you need a backpack, right? All right, you're about my size, I think, right? What are you, 6 foot? All right, I got pants for you. All right, I got a bunch of 32s. All right. Oh, I'm collecting some too. All right. So I'll start dropping stuff off, okay?
Security footage searching for the person.
You're back there, right? All right, I got you. I come here every day, okay? I'll see you. Good seeing you. You don't need no money with me. Never. No, you don't. Use your money for yourself. Never give me any money. I don't need no money, man. I don't. That's not how this works, okay, my brother?
He was transported to a nearby hospital where first responders say he's in good condition. It's 4:08. Time now for traffic and weather together on the 8th.
Dwayne, I think his name is, right?
For you on to Stevenson for sure with that vehicle fire happening. It's in the 3 right lanes, so you're solid from Damon inbound to just past State. 48 minutes in from I-355 to DeSable Lakeshore Drive. 33 from the Tri-State. Outbound heavy from the Dan Ryan to Central. And then
that's the guy who lives in the alley there. He goes, you got any money? He goes, I got money, I'll pay you. I said, you don't need to pay me.
The evening's just 27 minutes in from Lake Hooksett Junction. Outbound's a 17-minute ride. The Kennedy now 55 minutes in from O'Hare. 32 from the junction. Outbound, it's 38 minutes to get you to O'Hare. Your express lanes outbound are heavy from Belmont to Montrose. They're moving the same as the local, so it's up to you. The I-190 O'Hare extension, eastbound heavy from Bessie Coleman Drive to the Tri-State. The Eisenhower now inbound stop and go from York Road to First Avenue. We have reports of a medical emergency in the right lane. Thank you, tipsters like Ken on the WBBM Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates traffic tip line at 855-780 Road. We appreciate you. It's an hour 7 in from the Jane Addams, 38 from Manheim. Outbound delays from Costner to First. It is 27 to Manheim, 45 to the Jane Addams. I-55 in Will County, northbound heavy from Route 53 to I-355, southbound from 355 to past Joliet Road. The Dan Ryan heavy from 43rd to the Jane Byrne, 27 minutes in for you. Outbound heavy from the Byrne interchange to the Stevenson, and then 43rd all the way to the Split, making it 32 minutes on your outbound trip. I-57 inbound, slow from Bulmer Road to I-80. It's 15 minutes for you. Outbound, heavy from the Ryan to Pest Halsted, 20 minutes to I-80. From the Metro Traffic Center, your next traffic is at 418 on News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The WBBM AccuWeather forecast says mostly clear skies will follow us into tonight, with our overnight low dropping down to the mid to lower 60s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm still, but not that humid, with a high up to 86. Mostly clear by tomorrow night as well, with that low down
Retirement
to 66.
during an
Wednesday
election
much
year.
the same, but lower, a high of 89. And by Thursday
Funny,
and Friday,
ain't it?
we're tracking
You
some
investigating
showers
why this
moving through.
happened?
Right now, it's 73 degrees along the lakefront, 81 in Aurora, and a mostly sunny 78 degrees at O'Hare at 410.
Hey, let's talk about the roof on your home. A lot of you will need to replace your roof this summer, but be forewarned, there are roofing companies out there that skip over the most important part of the process, attic ventilation. You see, if your attic doesn't have proper air circulation, it can cause problems like mold and wood rot, leaks in the winter, not to mention higher AC bills in the summer. It's one of the reasons I recommend Rogers Roofing. Their process begins with a free 21-point roof inspection that includes a thorough inspection of your attic. They know if the ventilation isn't right, the roof is going to be built on a shaky foundation.
Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Yeah, thanks, Marietta. My kids cooked it. I actually didn't even stay up for the fireworks. We were a little tired. We watched a little TV and went to sleep. It wasn't that bad by us. Didn't go too late. I think 1 or 2 in the morning, the fireworks going on, and there wasn't that many. It wasn't bad. And then the next night there was a couple. It wasn't some nights. Sometimes, some years, it just goes on for days and non-stop. I mean, all day, all night. Hey, you know what? It's once a year. It's the 4th of July. I mean, that's our country's birthday. You know. I mean, I get it. There's some people who have issues with it. But you know every year it comes, so you can, instead of flaming, you know, you make adjustments, right? Don't say you're a victim all the time, right? You know, I talk about things all the time that I see, and I understand I talk like a certain way, that I'm either a victim or something bad's happening to me because I'm part of this city. But in the end, I say what should be done. I say my ideas. I got economic plans. I got educational plans. I got all stuff written. It's all over on the internet. I've been writing for years about this stuff. So, I mean, I know what happens on 4th of July, right? One of my sons couldn't make it, and his birthday's on 4th of July, by the way. And so the other son stepped in, and he did the cooking. And I think another son got the fireworks. It worked out, right? I mean, it is what it is. If you don't like fireworks, you don't like meat, whatever it is, it has nothing to do with anybody, right? That's your personal preference. It's first of all, take care of yourselves, whatever you need to do, and secondly, I mean, it only comes around once a year. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird how people act sometimes. The bigger news is violence continues. We had a mass shooting of 7 or 8 people. It's 2 addresses, but it's probably the same address. Right over there on Fulton, right? Flournoy, was it? On the west side, by Van Buren in that area. And 2 cops got shot. I think the other one was friendly fire. I think because the first thing Snelling said, he shot 1 shot. That's it. I heard that when I heard that the first time. Snelling said it. He shot once. That's all. That's what Snelling said. He shot once. And then they were shooting. So it sounds like that might be friendly fire there, which is bad. It's bad because there's a few examples of that. I mean, they shot their own partner in the back. That was a love triangle, they say. And then there was a shooting on the west side by Chicago and Holman. No cops were shot, but the guy was shooting into the car. And that's the first thing people say, why are you shooting in a car when there was a cop on the other side of the car? So I don't know if these guys are well trained, these police officers that we have right now. Oh man, that guy almost hit him. See that car? That car almost hit him. Oh, there's a green light though, right? I see what he was doing. There's a green light. Hey, you can't run over anybody. It doesn't matter, right? So that's where we're at. It's July 6th, 2026. it's the first Monday of the month. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe we'll listen to the radio calls. Might do a short one today. Maybe we'll go see the soccer game since they put back the main player, right? I mean, here, let's say this. If President Trump called FIFA and says, review that, and they switch it because of President Trump, is that something that's bad? I mean, he's helping our country. I don't want to say nothing about all the money. I don't like all the money he made. He made like $2 billion, Trump, right? I don't like it. But he kind of says, I got a lot of cash and people are making money, and it's part of the stock market and everybody's making money. So you kind of get it. It's like, I don't know what to say. The way he talks is this way. It's like we should have power. And I was thinking about this all weekend long, watching all the 4th of July stuff and Declaration of Independence. He's like, yeah, we should have power. You should be like me. You should be rich. You should have a family that has businesses. That's the way he kind of talks. We shouldn't have to live in fear. We shouldn't have to live in crime and debauchery. That's the kind of way he talks. And then I thought about it when I was watching all these videos and movies about 4th of July and the celebrations, and I said, there was a big thing that me and my wife watched. We ended up watching, we finished the Men Who Made America, the Frontiersmen. There's a group between the Revolution and like the Industrial Revolution, when cities really went up, and before the Civil War. There was a time, and before the pioneers. It was the first guys. There was Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, Kit Carlson, Friedmont. Oh, there was one more guy. I forget the other guy. There was Lewis and Clark. And then there was I think there might have been Lafayette and Marquette too. All of those guys. Some of them were French colonizers. We're at Rush Street, by the way, if you want to know where. This was and is the most expensive, exclusive area right here. The people who talk about Fulton Market, they're silly. That's nothing. That's just I hope Fulton Market becomes a Rush Street one day. I don't think it will. I think they're just fly-by-nights, and once that goes away, it goes away. I hope it doesn't. I hope it stays. I don't think it will fly away that fast, because they invested in the merchandise mart and a few other things. When I was involved in downtown and the real estate deal for the teachers union, I kind of learned some things. So that's all I got to say. And it might not be a fly-by-night. I hope it isn't. I hope if the AI crashes, it doesn't wipe that all out. But we'll see. I mean, they're spending a lot of money downtown in the Thompson Center too. Google it. So that's good. So let's get back to the Frontiersmen, which I like. And I might do, some people might take an insult to what I'm about to say. I don't care. It is what it is. We got the radio on in case something comes on the radio.
Frequency mode.
So it's a really good thing. I think James said he was watching. It's a good series. I think it's 4 or 5 episodes. If you want to do a binge watch, I mean, the 4th of July was good. I mean, it was only about 3 hours. I watched, there's 4 or 5 segments. They're about an hour long. It's a little long. It's about 5 or 6 hours, I think. I think it's around there. I don't know how long. But it's good. It's about the frontiersmen. It's not the pioneers, not the wagon people. And it's before the 49ers. The 49ers, the gold rush. And it actually explains the gold rush. It explains the gold rush, technically. And it kind of gives you what happened there. So it's right before the gold rush, right? And then it goes a little bit after, it talks a little bit after, but it basically, these are frontiersmen. These are the people that were opening up the country.
388 Adam. 7388 Adam. Yes, ma'am. Can we get a...
And what, a couple of things that came out of me, and I talked about this once before a couple of times. So why don't you get the medical examiner to change the records and then send me those changed records? I have somebody that bothers me that a report we put on was false, that her fiance died of an overdose. When the Cook County medical examiners, I'm going to start taking pictures and post this. Most of these are criminals. They usually are complicit in the crime and they want their name removed. They don't want extra attention to certain, whether it's a family member that got shot or killed or something else, or there was maybe a conflict between the people and one died, one didn't. People always send me these messages, you don't know what you're writing, you're false, false, da-da-da. Well, in this case, the guy's medical examiner. Here, I'll show you. The lady's sending me, say, what's up, Jason? Sending me stuff that her fiance didn't die of an overdose, yet the medical examiner says he died of an overdose. So I'm like, okay, well, send me the medical examiner's report when they change it, and I'll change the story. Or I said to her, I always tell this to people, if you ever exchange information with me and you say some of my stuff's wrong, or it's a second side of the story, I said, well, send me your side of the story with your name and date and I'll publish it. Now, no fake profiles. You have to send me your actual name. That's you know. Oh, by Maypole and Hamline? If they shot up Maypole and Hamline, then they're going to shoot the guys that shot them up. That's how it goes. So it'll be in a different area. It won't be in the same area, I don't think. Unless they do like to happen on Madison by Laverne in that one week where 4 got killed in less than 4 or 5 days. So the idea that I'm talking about this frontierism, right, is this. What's really good, and it goes into how we got all the land.
35 persons are going to 851 Market gas station in the alley. Takes the brother of her child's father pulled a black gun on her. Your son is wearing no shirt, red, black shorts, nothing further than 7.
So now the person just sent me another message that said, oh, that's not the right date of death. Right. First they said he didn't OD, now they're saying it's the wrong date of death. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, just send me some. So there they are. There's 3 guys writing tickets. That's the good use of your carjacking murderers, mass murder finder guys time. Look, and then there's rapists on the CTA. You've seen, I just posted, there's a rapist on the CTA. They happened in May and they just put it out in July. So that's what you got there. You got 3 guys writing tickets. Pretty cool, huh? See that there? That's a good use of your tax dollars, right? Ain't the meter maid supposed to do that? I thought so. So I'm watching this video and it actually shows how we got California, shows how we got Texas, shows how we got Alabama and Georgia and Mississippi. That was a deal down there. There was all kinds of deals. We did all these purchases, but there was warfare. There was Indian wars, Indian massacres. We massacred Indians. It was back and forth. It was pretty brutal. But what really got me is I think it was the last episodes. And first of all, I thought about this. I said, first of all, we threw out the colonists. We are Americans. The ones that live here, that stayed here, we're not colonists. So that's the first thing that got to me. And I've been talking about this for a little while now, for almost a couple of years. Dusable was a colonist because he was a dark-skinned Frenchman. He could speak French. They didn't consider him an Anglo, so he was easier to trick the Indians in this area. And this was a French area because of the Mississippi. That's why you have all the French names, right?
All right, that's 0.
Right? Everybody knows that Dusable was a French colonizer. So that's the fact there. And he didn't end up living in. They keep saying he founded Chicago. He was a settler here, and actually he died in St. Louis. So they say he founded Chicago, but somehow he died in St. Louis. So how does that happen? If you found something and you established it and you were the first mayor, the first big shot, wouldn't you have stayed here? No, he didn't, because he was a colonizer. His whole story is fake. He might have been the first resident. He might have been the first trapper here. We don't know. because there's not that little of paperwork here, but they say he is the first kind of guy who bought the first plot of land or figure out the land thing here. That's a fact. There's just some written documentation on that. Milo Quaife wrote about that. He did a lot of historical studies way back when, and you can find a lot of these original documents. They're called genealogy studies and all of these weird things. So yeah, but let that aside. DuSable was a colonizer. He was a Caribbean/French dark-skinned colonizer. Period. You gotta get that in. Whether he was the first guy here and all that, that's pretty much. He's one of the first residents. He's one of the first non-native people that were here in this area. You can argue that. That's established. So, but this is the way you gotta think. We're not speaking French right now. There was also Portuguese. There was also Spanish. There was also Dutch, English. There was some Italians, but they were kind of mixed with the Spaniards and the Portuguese, right? There was some French here. Why don't we speak any of those languages? Well, because they lost. They lost. Because the Pilgrims, the people who lived here and decided to live in our society, threw out the colonizers, including DuSable from Chicago. He left for some reason. We don't know why he left. He sold, or I don't know what he did. He left. So this whole idea, this concept, or this conceptualization that Americans are colonizers is a lie. It's all fake. It's made up by people who lie, who cheat, who like drugs, who like porno, who like pedophilia, who like all the disorder, right? Except for them, they like to have 150-man police details while saying it's safe when there's a mass shooting over the weekend, right? And we haven't got to that yet. At 4:30, we're going to get to the news, right? But I want to finish up with this idea of the Americans, right? Americans are not colonizers. We're Americans. We threw out the colonies. We threw out all those countries I mentioned, right? We don't speak their language. We speak what? American. We don't even speak British. We don't speak British English. Go to Britain and talk. You're different. We don't speak British. We speak American. We speak a different language, American. We don't speak British English. Now I'm gonna finish up. So we threw everybody out. How? By winning. By taking over the government, having a Declaration of Independence, which was just our birthday the other day. And it's our country. We said, this is not your country, to the colonizers. And the reason I'm saying this story, and I'll be done with this, towards the end of that series, you can see how we won the country. We also defeated Mexico. Remember the Alamo? Remember when the Mexicans killed our people? I think they killed Davy Crockett in the Alamo. Didn't they kill Davy Crockett? They killed Americans. Mexicans killed Americans. Period. Unprovoked, I believe. Maybe it was provoked. Maybe they ambushed them in the beginning or something. But then the Indians wiped out the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. Never forget the Alamo. That's when the Mexicans killed Americans. The what? Peaceful Mexicans. Don't they always say that? Mexicans are peaceful. These are the counter colonists or colony people. I'm not saying Mexicans are bad. I'm talking about the people who create these stories who say that we're the colonists. No, we're not. We're people who want to live free. We don't want pedophilia. We don't want the church telling us what to do. If you want to believe in God, you can believe in God, and you can believe in any God you want in our country. In other countries, you can't believe in it. Go do Christianity in Afghan. Go do Christianity. Why don't you go get a cross? Walk around with a cross in the middle of Iraq or Iran. You go see what happens to you real quick. Carrying a cross or carrying the Star of David or doing some other religion. Go try another religion in one of those countries there. Look at that guy. He's got all his clothes over there. Go try that out. Go try that out, because no other country is like America. Because why? We threw out all the old people and we said, this is America. We won the war. We didn't forget the Alamo, what the Mexicans did to Americans. And guess what? We won the war. That's how we got California. We won the war. There was a war and we won it. Just like the colonies, just like all the other parts of America. We're one. We're the winners. That's why Trump, I kind of like him, even though he's a little crazy, because that's how he talks to. Let's listen to the news.
WBBM.
AccuWeather says clear skies as we head into tonight with lows dropping down to the 60s. Tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly sunny and not that humid, but warmer. A high up to 86. Right now, it's 73 degrees along the lakefront, 77 in Waukegan, and a mostly sunny 78 still at O'Hare at 429.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional grade products you need.
Now the half hour news always starts with local news. So let's see how the local news starts, because we analyze the news too, right? That's part of what SubX does, right? That's why we listen to the news, we repeat it, we listen to it, we write about it. That's why we do videos, that's why we write articles, that's why we do all of that stuff. To make sure there's a historical record of what's going on today. Because people want to change it. Like they say, DuSable invented Chicago when he was a settler here and he died in St. Louis, and he was technically a French colonizer or Caribbean colonizer, but technically a French colonizer.
This is Carolina Guerrero. Governor J.B. Pritzker signs a first-in-the-nation AI safety law.
Plus a police officer among 4 dead in a shooting in Ohio. WBBM Sports, both baseball teams are off, but of course U.S. and Belgium will meet in the World Cup later tonight. WBBM Business.
I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg. Wall Street sees more gains on a snapback rally in chip makers. The Dow today up 157 points to a new all-time high. The Nasdaq up 288, the S&P added 54.
AccuWeather says mainly clear tonight with lows down in the 60s. Right now it's 73 degrees along the lakefront at 431. Prosecutors are revealing what they believe happened before a severed arm was discovered in a central Illinois lake. WBBM's Sarah Herrera has the latest.
The tattoos on the arm discovered in Lake Mattoon helped Illinois State Police identify the victim as 38-year-old Dale Wayne Turner of the Plainfield area. Prosecutors allege Turner's half-brother, 26-year-old James Adams, stabbed him to death during a fight inside a home. And with the help of Turner's wife, 62-year-old Robin Turner, they dismembered and concealed his body. Court records say investigators later found Turner's head, neck, and torso inside a locked basement freezer, while other remains were allegedly taken to the lake in weighted trash bags. Adams allegedly told investigators he killed Turner in self-defense. Prosecutors are asking a judge to keep them both detained while the case moves forward. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The search for Chicago's next police superintendent starts next week.
When Police Superintendent Larry Snelling retires next Wednesday, the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability will have until mid-November to come up with the names of 3 finalists to present to Mayor Brandon Johnson. Before that, however, the commission is required by law to hold at least 4 public hearings, at least 1 each on the south, west, and north sides. The hearings will be designed to gauge Chicagoans' wishes on the type of person they'd like to see running the police department. Once the commission submits 3 finalist names to the mayor, he will pick one or ask for a new slate of 3. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It's 4:33. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a new AI bill into law.
Pritzker says the Artificial Intelligence Safety Measures Act establishes the nation's strongest framework for AI safety, transparency, and accountability.
We must protect our people from the dangers of AI while still harnessing the unique potential of the technology. And we're doing it in Illinois with a bipartisan, first and most protective in the nation law.
He says the law requires the largest AI developers to create risk mitigation frameworks and undergo mandatory annual independent third-party audits. It also provides protections for whistleblowers and creates confidential channels for employees to report safety risks.
If the federal government isn't going to take up the mantle, which is so disappointing when you think about how incredibly important this technological change is to the future of this country, then it's going to have to be the laboratories of democracy, the laboratories of new ideas, the states that lead us. And we'll do that here in Illinois.
Carolina Guerrero, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The former deputy who was found guilty of shooting and killing Springfield resident Sonia Massey to death wants to get out of prison early. Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson is seeking medical release just 6 months into his 20-year sentence. Grayson says his colon cancer has spread to his liver and lungs. Now, Sonia Massey's family is urging the Prisoner Review Board to deny Grayson's petition. Moving now to national news. In Ohio last night, a police officer was killed after coming under gunfire while responding to a 911 call. The suspect and 2 other victims are also dead. Thomas Ballinger is the Wayne County Sheriff.
We have lost an officer in the line of duty, and 2 other ones have been injured. And then also a canine, a dog from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office was also injured.
The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations is now looking into the incident. President Trump heading to the NATO summit in Turkey, where Ukraine will likely ask for more aid, especially interceptor missiles. ABC News contributor and former State Department official Colonel Steve Ganyard says there's been intelligence reports that Moscow may be planning an attack in Eastern Europe. He says that could serve as a distraction from Ukrainian attacks on Russia.
You're seeing gas lines in Moscow, Crimea. Every gas station in Crimea apparently has been hit. So the way that Zelensky's going about this is to make the pain felt by the Russian people. This is why this is dangerous, where Putin may wag the dog and attack NATO somewhere around Poland, Latvia, or Lithuania in a way that sort of distracts the Russian people away from how poorly the Russians are doing in Ukraine.
Ganyard also says Russia is urging people to conduct arson attacks against NATO facilities in Poland, Latvia, and Lithuania. Well, 2026, of course, a defining political year, and WBBM News Radio has you covered with Palm Card, our new Election Central email newsletter featuring important analysis from political editor Jeff Buckholtz on Chicago and Illinois politics. Read Palm Card Sunday mornings by signing up at WBBMNewsRadio.com. We'll talk gas prices coming up next. It's 4:36.
Chicago, if you're ready to drive, choose Patrick Cars. Right now, finance for 0%.
All right, it's 09927.
There we go.
09927.
You don't hear no discussion of weekend statistics. You can't say, because the numbers are down from last year. Of course, we had a Mellow Bucks mass killing last year, right?
7329, your event number
and there was a whole bunch of other stuff that I covered. Last year was a bloody year. It was a bad year last year. So what it is, but you can't say numbers are down when you just had a mass shooting. I think it was 8, the ones on the west side, and you had 2 cops shot, maybe 1 with friendly fire, and that's what we want to talk about in our second segment now, right? We'll keep the radio on in case a crime comes up. But I was listening to Snelling, and he said 1 shot fired. He shot he shot once. And then there was a flurry of bullets. That's not a good thing. The police department doesn't have a good track record here, and we're one of the first to report that there was a problem with the Rivera case, because we got actually messages from the family. We didn't break their confidence and we didn't break the story, but we did mention it a few times that it might be friendly fire over there. That's how it went down, and they kept that up till the next day. Snelling lied about that till the next morning.
Take 099.
So this time he didn't say it that way. He said it a different way, right? 1 shot, and we don't know what happened. That the perpetrator in the go-kart shot once. The guy, the felon who can't have a gun, who had a gun, shot at a cop. You gotta get where, do you understand these stories? The felon who can't have a gun, who's been arrested multiple times with a gun, shoots at a cop, and the cop shoots him, right? And then there's a shootout or something like that. We don't know what actually happened. We'll find out from the body cams. I'm sure they already know. But the point I'm trying to make here is this: unless you have independent voices, and that don't mean all the voices are right and all the other voices are wrong, or one's right, one's wrong, blue, red, green. Remember, red and blue, we always lose. Red and blue, we always lose. Every time. It don't matter who's in charge. Why aren't the Republicans investigating the migrant situation? Why? Because they made money. They made money, that's why. They won't ever investigate that because they made money. Right? But I guess what I want to get to is this. It's thinking about how do we get out of this morass that we're in, right? And it kind of gets back to the first discussion of the country, right? When did we become, oh, the loser is the winner? It's like Opposite Day. You ever anybody watch SpongeBob? SpongeBob used to have a segment called Opposite Day. See, they're back here, right? See, the holiday's over, and they're all doing drugs there. See that there? They're all doing, see the white dude doing drugs there? The white guy right there doing drugs. There's whites, blacks, Hispanics, there's everybody. He's doing drugs right in the open. Drinking, man. There's the cops right there, look. The cops are right here. What are they, 5 feet from him? They don't care. He's drinking booze and smoking dope right there, man. What, 5 and not even 10 feet? What is that, 10, 20 feet? Come on, man. You want to see that one more time? You see all the cops? See all the cops? The sheriffs? There's a station, right? There's a sheriff's station. The sheriff's station's there just for this. The drug dealer here. Yeah, I'll go over there. I don't care. We're the news. I'm not afraid of these criminal drug addict criminals. They're criminal drug addicts. Who cares about them? Bunch of people coming up with a cooler right here. You're going to sit back here and chill out. That's what's happening. It's the party's on, man. They get the news. And they come out here and start doing their dealing, right? The white dude's gone, right? There's a white guy here with a beard, smoking dope and booze in his hand right there. He's right there.
87 Adam.
That guy.
This
guy right here. That guy right there.
I'm sorry, where? I'm sorry?
Right there. Now he's got his sign. So he was smoking a joint, drinking a beer, right?
09977.
So he was smoking a joint, drinking a beer, and now he's got his homeless sign, and he's going to go get some more money for some more drugs. You see how that works? You just seen it right here. So, according to the people running our city, DuSable, who left, actually invented Chicago. The criminal like that guy, that white dude right there. He's homeless and he needs help. You shouldn't down, whatever you call him, denigrate him, right? But he's smoking dope and drinking booze in public, which he shouldn't be doing, right? Kind of get it? And now what? They're doing some deal right here, right? I don't know, buying some cigarettes or something like that. I told you they sell hits in those cigarettes. Sometimes they have hits of drugs in them. Again, the trank, and I see they're going to do a drug deal together. The white guy was leaving. The black guy just got here. He was sitting here, and he goes, oh, let's go do a deal. And then you got those guys doing whatever they're doing there, too. Didn't you just see the drug deal over there? There's a group over there. See that there? They're doing shit right there. That guy was the dealer right there. With the day goatee. Did you see that? You want to see the cops again? Well, I'm going to show you the cops. Let me show you the cops.
Units getting a battery victim over the green line at Pulaski Green Line. On the platform, there's a female battery victim. Cook County is on scene requesting police and fire. I got nothing for them.
On the platform. What? Pulaski Green Line?
Lake of Pulaski.
Wow. My other phone is jacked up right now. It's not. Didn't they say CTAs was safe last year? Battery victim. Pulaski Green Line. And they'll say, oh, it didn't happen on the train. It didn't happen on this. DuSable, who left, he's the winner. He invented Chicago. Again, you know, he has his accolades. I'm not against DuSable. I'm not against that. I'm not even disputing that he might have been one of the first people to settle here and one of the first people to buy land here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he left. He left. DuSable left. Why would we raise him up as the guy that we should venerate in Chicago when he left? Why? Because you got a guy from Elgin, right? Who's not a Chicagoan, who's what? Who elevates the guy, right? So he elevates a fakester, right? Or as I'm going to talk about and finish up what I was talking about, the Alamo. Let's keep moving. Right? So you seen the that's all debauchery there, right? They're doing bullshit there, those guys. All that whole group is doing bullshit right there. And he's got the what? Crime interventionist sweatshirt on. You see that there? See how that works? He might even be collecting a check, that guy. Right there. That guy in the vest might be collecting a check from Brandon Johnson to be a crime interrupter, right there. While he's with them doing drugs, right? That white lady there, she's always on Redline videos, right there, that one. There, you go look her up. That's the regular crew right there. That's the ones that years ago, if you listen to my video, my video reports, and if you listen to the radio calls, I used to do more radio calls in the old days. A lot more radio calls. They would always say about the red line especially, oh, it's the regulars. Oh, it's the regulars. Those are the regulars right there. Those are the red line regulars right there. Those guys right there. So back to this Sable and the colonists in America and our Declaration of Independence. We're Americans. This is our country. Whether you come here, whether you're born here, or whatever it is.
10037. 10037.
And this is America, right? It's our country. It's not the British's country. It's not French's country. It ain't Spain's country. It ain't Portugal.
Citywide battery in progress at McDonald's, 1380 West Lake. 1380 West Lake, it's McDonald's. There are 6 no black teams throwing fireworks at customers inside the store. I have nothing further. 12th District, Zone 3.
So he's out here collecting money, right? You've seen his sign, right? He's drinking booze, smoking cigarettes and dope, and he wants more money to drink more booze and smoke more cigarettes. He doesn't want a home. So the idea about our independence, we're Americans. Where you come from? Who cares? I'm from somewhere else. My wife's from somewhere else. You guys are from other places. Some of you are been born here for multiple generations. Some are brand new immigrants right off the boat. Fresh. You're still dripping water. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Our country is built on immigration, legal immigration. People want to contribute to our society. And that's where I'm getting to. When did we become a nation of supporting the loser? Right? When did we become that? When do we venerate a French colonizer who actually left Chicago? How did we venerate that? How do we get to the point where we're saying, oh wait, yeah, he's so important, but he left? I get it. And then if you listen, to what Brandon Johnson said today, or over the weekend, over Snelling's retirement, listen to him really carefully. How they lie and they trick people. This is manipulation, right? He said it's not one man who can run anything. And it shouldn't be on one part. It shouldn't be identity politics. Basically, that's what he's saying. Which is a lie, because everything he does is identity politics. DuSable's narrative is identity politics. Yet he says, I don't want identity of politics. Why? Because people are saying, yeah, why don't you put a Hispanic in charge? Look at his news conference about the double shooting of cops. It was mostly black. Chicago isn't mostly black. It's no more than 25% black, if not less. It might be under the 20s by now. Yet you turn on the TV and he's surrounded by black officials. That doesn't even make sense. He doesn't reflect what the real city is. That doesn't mean blacks can't run the city. That doesn't mean blacks can't be in power. That doesn't mean any of that. But if you're against identity politics, then you would do a representation of how the city looks. Hispanics, Asians, dark Hispanics, light Hispanics, Indian Americans, Arab Americans, right? African Americans. You'd have a mix of it there. But look at his TV conferences. Start looking at those and how he does these things. And he's ramping it up more because he wants to solidify the black vote. That's what he wants to do. He can't lose the black vote. If he loses the black vote, he won't make it to the second round. He needs the black vote to make it to the second round. He might win 51% if he does it right. He might win all right. He might win that first round. If Brandon does it right, he might win that first round. If he does a little trickery, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, we're going to go up there in this Plains. We're going to go back into the city. How about that? But I guess I got off the topic here. I want to finish before we get to 5 o'clock because I don't want to belabor this idea, right? When did we become the nation of losers? When do we root for the losing team? Yeah, we like the underdogs, the Sox, the go-go Cubbies, right? We get it. But even the Cubs won a World Series a couple of times. And they're an old legacy team. The Sox won a couple of series and they're an old legacy team. So they do have winners behind them, right? The Bears have won. The Bulls have won. The Blackhawks. We're a city of winners, actually. We have some really cool stuff in our city. So why would we venerate a loser? Why would we say the drug addict on the street who's drinking booze and smoking a cigarette with a sign saying I'm homeless, I need money? Why does he have more rights than me? Why is that? Why does the criminal have more rights than me? Why is that? And I'll write about that because I'm in the middle of my case, and that's actually a false narrative. I'm going to tell you guys about. I'm going to talk to you guys at length about the Safety Act and pretrial release. It's what you're seeing on TV is not true. It's not. I'm in the middle of it. I'll tell you that. So the idea is, when did we become a nation, or parts of the nation, that we say, oh, losing is good? A loser is the guy that I want. The guy here, when the guy who has the least amount of votes, I want him to run my city, not the guy that has the most amount of votes. And you remember with Brandon Johnson, he didn't do too well that first time. So the idea I'm trying to say here is this. Somewhere along the line, over the years, and I think it came out of the 60s, the hippie, doped up sex swappers, partner swapper people, those guys, they're most of them are professors, most of them are in power, they're in corporate now. In fact, part of the Chicago 7, one of them became a banker. He actually sold out completely. Jerry Rubin? Was that him or the other guy? One of those guys. I don't know if it was Jerry Rubin or the other guy. You read up on these guys. These guys were the guys that were burning things and fighting the cops. He became a banker. That's like Bill Ayers, who became a government professor, now has a government pension. A guy who used to bomb facilities. He was part of the weathermen who actually built bombs and targeted government facilities. They killed a couple of their people. He ran away to Canada, and his billionaire daddy, and Bill Ayers' dad was a ComEd executive. I don't know if he was the top one or not. Billionaire. That's billionaire status, right? Or had access to billions. Bill Ayers runs to Canada, not to get at Brandon, and all of a sudden the FBI case disappears. Says, oh, we can't try him. We illegally got this. We illegally got that. Imagine that. That's the same people that are influencing our politics, our news, our universities, our curriculum, and all of that today. Somehow saying we have to root for the loser. I don't want to root for the loser. Today when I go home, because I'm going to go watch that soccer game with my kids. My kids like soccer, right? I'm going to root for the winner. And you know who the winner I want? Is USA. Because I'm an American. I want the USA to win. You kind of get it? And now if it's USA versus Japan, I got a tough one there because my wife's Japanese, but I'm going to still root for the USA because that's my country, right? She can root for whoever she wants, and I remind her, remember, you live in the United States, not Japan anymore. She goes, yeah, you're right, USA go. But you see where I'm getting to on this one? Where did we get to the point where we root for the loser? I want the drug addict not to be a drug addict. I want the homeless guy not to be homeless. I want the guy that's in the gang to get out of the gang. I want the guy who was shot not to get shot. I want the family who suffers trauma not to suffer trauma. I want all of that. I want all of that. But when did you ask the killer and the shooter what's best? Shouldn't you ask the people who don't shoot and don't kill what's best? Aren't they the better example? think about what Brandon Johnson did. He's interviewing teenagers. We don't know who these teenagers are. About what we should do about teen trends. First of all, they don't have those rights because they're not adults in our society, right? Yet he's asking the kids supposedly who are causing the damage, who say we're going to cause more damage if you don't give us our open spaces. When every neighborhood has a public school, has a public park, has a public library. Not all neighborhoods might have libraries anymore. Some might have been closed. But they at least, most areas have a park, a school, and a library. Some have multiple ones. In my neighborhood, I have Green and Evergreen, and we got McKinley Park Library, all within walking distance of my house. And we got Kelly High School down the street from me, and we got Benito Juarez down the street from me. And then there's also a charter school down by me. The cult, the Gulen cult. Right? You can look that one up. John Kugler, McKinley Park Charter School. See what my work on that one. You can check what side of the road I'm on that one, all right? I had a lot of stuff I've published over the years. But the point I'm trying to make is when did we root for the losers, right? When did we start doing that, right? When did we start doing that? That's bizarre. It's a bizarre thing. Do you think Bill Ayers roots for a loser? But he writes that in his curriculum. In fact, Brandon Johnson, if you look at a video between Brandon Johnson and Bill Ayers, they're on the same video. He says, black children who succeed harm other children. So basically, this was Bill Ayers' philosophy. There's a video of Brandon Johnson saying, repeating Bill Ayers' philosophy. They blocked the video now, but I have it, and there's clips of it. Brandon Johnson said, black children who succeed harm lower performing students. Brandon Johnson said that. That's Bill Ayers' philosophy. He was laughing in the background. You could see him laughing at the black man saying the blacks should not venerate winners, they should lose. He repeated it. That's where that comes from. It comes from guys like Bill Ayers. It comes from other people that own media companies. They run unions now. Some of them are elected in the government, like Brandon Johnson. You got the mayor in Boston. You got the LA mayor. You got Portland people. You got Minneapolis people. You got them all over. They're all over. It's a generation. You're not going to get rid of this. This is not going to happen overnight. You can't get rid of them all. It's just like red or blue. There's just different types of people, and certain people believe in certain things, right? But that's, I'm going to end with this idea today on this first part of our segment. When did we start celebrating the loser? Who did that? And why did they do that to us? Why would someone do that? Do you think Bill Ayers is a loser? He was on the FBI's most wanted list for killing people with bombs. He was a domestic terrorist like Osama bin Laden. He was on the top 10 list. He could be killed. They could have killed him and it would have been okay. That kind of a guy. He had that kind of a thing, I think, on him. It was, I don't know if it was wanted, dead or alive, but anyway necessary. That was Bill Ayers. That's why he never stepped foot on American soil. I'm going to focus on that guy. He's an important figure in this stuff. That guy's getting a government pension, laughing at every one of us. And he's the guy who writes the curriculum to support losers. He's the guy who writes curriculum that you should mutilate your body because you're a confused teenager. And if you put a restriction on that teenager changing his body as a parent, you're breaking the law, according to J.B. Pritzker. See how it's all tied up? But how you write a curriculum, and in big cities it's mostly for minorities, right? Because private schools have their own curriculum, and say the person who succeeds harms the others. That's Bill Ayers' philosophy. But yet, you were on a FBI's most wanted list for killing people with bombs and wanting to destroy America. And now you have a government pension. And you wonder, was that guy really a revolutionary? Is he really a revolutionary? Or is he a white supremacist? Laughing at the blacks that he tricked all those years. The blacks that he tricks and the minorities that he tricks with his curriculum every day. To say you should be less than. Yeah, think about that. 5 o'clock news.
The S&P heading 54. I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg.
AccuWeather says we're going to see mainly clear skies through the overnight hours with lows down to 63 degrees. Right now, it's a mostly clear 78 degrees at O'Hare at 5 o'clock. Here is ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Another allegation against the Maine Democratic Senate candidate. ABC News has not independently verified the claim, which has been published online.
You need a starter or what? What do you need? Starter? Electric? Oh, you already got it? All right. Take it easy. Be safe, my brother.
Mindful of political reality will inflict. We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward.
The Democrat challenging incumbent Senator Susan Collins, under state law in Maine, has a week to decide whether to withdraw from the race in time for the party to put someone else's name on the November ballot.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Two fellow Democrats, California Congressman Ro Khanna and Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego, today yanked their endorsements of Plattner after the Politico report came out. Khanna also urges Plattner to drop out of the race, calling the allegations very serious and credible. Plattner's opponent, Republican Collins, says these allegations are appalling. Nevertheless, it's not up to me to choose the Democratic nominee for Senate. President Trump heads to a NATO summit in Turkey later today, where Ukraine President Zelensky is expected as well. ABC's Britt Clement.
Diplomats among NATO nations, they say that leaders, they are weighing fresh pledges of these, advanced air defense systems and a multi-year support framework. But, some allies have been slow to follow through and deliver on those earlier promises. So there's real uncertainty about how far they'll go this time.
The U.S. has been removing mines from the southern route of the Strait of Hormuz, with more tankers passing through, says ABC News contributor and former State Department official Steve Ganyard.
We could get down into the 60s on a barrel of oil because of this glut. So the Iranian ability to influence this negotiation is going to decrease. We'll see if that makes a difference at the negotiation table.
You're listening to ABC News.
See here? They have no tent signs. You don't see no tents here. There's signs up here. This is Wolf Point. I did a video on this the other day, remember? So certain neighborhoods don't have to have homeless people in tents. So it's strange, and we're going to show you a tent city right down the road here. Why did this don't have tents, and why down the street it does? It's because of people like Bill Ayers, right? He's a manipulator. He's a government narc agent. That guy is the worst danger to all black people. That guy. And he influences people like Brandon Johnson, who don't know what he's doing. And now he's going a little bit trying to say he's a black guy and supporting black issues. But if you look and go to black neighborhoods, what are most of the neighborhoods with crime? Black neighborhoods, what are most neighborhoods with divestment? Black neighborhoods, what are the most neighborhoods without support? Black neighborhoods. And he puts in a few $100 million, and that's nothing out of a $10 or $20 billion budget. But you kind of get it. So now, because he wants to get elected, he'll do it. Let's listen to the rest of the news.
Newsradio.com.
It is 5:03 on Monday, July 6th, 2026. Hi there, I'm Haley Hansen. Thanks for joining us tonight. Right now, it is 73 degrees along Chicago's lakefront. We've got mostly clear skies still. Today's been a lovely break from the sometimes strong storms we experienced over the weekend, and it'll be nice heading deeper into tonight. Tomorrow, Tuesday, lovely again, plus a little warmer, but not too humid. Our high up to 86. Warmer still by Wednesday, but as we get towards the end of the work week, there's another chance for some storms. AccuWeather will have the full details coming up at 5:15, but first, our top local story here on News Radio WBBM. A 27-year-old woman is dead after a driver hit her while she was on her bike and then thrown off. WBBM's Nancy Hardy reports police in the far northwest suburbs now searching for suspects.
If you were in Hampshire near Route 20 between Big Timber and Gas Roads very early this morning, police may want to hear from you. The department says they learned of a crash that killed a woman on a bike at around 12:40 a.m. That's when a witness called in to say a woman was lying in the road in the rural area and another driver had stopped to offer medical help before driving on. Police say the 27-year-old woman from nearby Pingree Grove died at the scene. They have not found the driver. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A Lake County, Illinois K-9 is earning some extra treats for helping make several arrests last night.
56-year-old Corey Dismukes of Chicago, 45-year-old Emmanuel Harper of Milwaukee, and 35-year-old James Yancey of Chicago Heights face charges of burglary and felony theft. Lake County Sheriff's deputies spotted Dismukes and Harper outside of a business in unincorporated Libertyville around 11 p.m. A GPS tracking device on a flatbed trailer that one of the men had rented led deputies there. But the two were seen trying to steal a pair of skid steer machines. K9 Simba got involved when video surveillance showed a third suspect. Authorities then followed Simba to a nearby forest preserve where Yancey was found hiding and taken into custody. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A SWAT team responded to a shooting on Chicago's South Side this afternoon. Police say a man fired shots in the direction of an occupied vehicle near 76th and Essex in the South Shore neighborhood. The suspect then ran into a residential building. That's where police, including SWAT, responded at around 2 p.m. today. Police did not have any other details to release, but we'll of course bring you updates to the story when we learn more. 5:06, Chicago sisters Tianda and Diamond Bradley remain missing 25 years to the day after their sudden disappearance. 10-year-old Tianda and her 3-year-old sister Diamond left a note for their working mom that they were leaving their apartment on 35th and Cottage Grove, going to a store and then off to a playground. They have not been seen since that day. Shalia Bradley Smith is the missing girl's great aunt.
And then, poof, like a magic show, they're gonna know. Somebody picked those kids up.
Shalia Smith believes someone known to the girl's mother took them. She's urging police to start back at square one to find out what happened. An early copy of the Declaration of Independence will be featured at a live reading at Chicago's Newberry Library this Wednesday.
The Declaration of Independence was adopted July 4th, 1776. Then there was a public reading on July 8th. Now, 250 years later, the Newberry Library is one of the places around the world that will host another live reading. Jill Austin is Vice President for Public Engagement at the Newberry.
What's interesting about our printed copy of the Declaration, it was printed, as I said, on July 13th, just 9 days after the 4th of July, when the Declaration was officially adopted. There was a typo that also makes it a little bit unique. The typo indicates that it was printed on June 13th rather than July 13th.
And typo or not, the Declaration of Independence changed the world.
It is a testament to this great experiment of the United States and our continued striving at 250 years old to be a more perfect union.
Terry Keschner, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And Chicago police need your help solving a robbery on a Blue Line train last month. It happened at the Kedzie Homan Station in the East Garfield Park neighborhood at around 5:30 a.m. May 26th. CPD says suspects attacked a 56-year-old man after he refused to give up his belongings. Mass transit detectives now seeking to identify 5 men who are about 30 to 45 years old. Police say one of those suspects has blonde tips. The latest information delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for WBBM's email newsletters. Get the information you need to know quickly and easily, all for free. Click on the sign up tab on WBBMNewsRadio.com today. It's 5:08. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. What's going on, Lisa Costi?
We've got trouble spots on I-94 westbound, just jammed from US 20 to past US 421, with emergency vehicles on scene trying to help out a rolled over semi that's in the ditch. So those vehicles are in the right lane trying to get him out. Eastbound, you're heavy from the Chesterton truck scales to before US 421. We've got a gaper delay, of course, because everybody wants to know what's going on over there. The Edens inbound, you're heavy from Peterson to the junction, 27 in. Outbound, you're solid from the junction connection to Tui as they clean up an earlier crash. It's been moved to the shoulder, but still 32 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. The Kennedy inbound 48 minutes from O'Hare to the Jane Byrne. Outbound, you're heading from the Byrne interchange to the Ohio Street feeder, and then Irving Park to Harlem. 20 minutes to Montrose, 38 to O'Hare. Your express lanes are actually 4 minutes slower, so you may as well stay in the locals. The Eisenhower now, improvement, still pretty rough. Heavy from York to the Tri-State, and then Mannheim to Harlem, and then Western to the Jane Byrne. An hour in from the Jane Addams, 37 from Mannheim. Outbound delays from Western to First, and then Higgins to I-90, 52 out to the Jane Addams. The Stevenson now heavy from Lamont Road to the Tri-State, and then First to Harlem, 42 minutes in from I-355 to DeSalvo Lakeshore Drive. Outbound just 34 minutes to get you to the Tri-State, 45 out to the Veterans. I-55 in Will County, northbound slow from Route 53 to I-355 south.
10350.
3211.
3211.
Number 6 Highway.
Alright, Skyway is 10354. 10354.
All right, you guys ready to go?
83 King.
Clark Lake.
So we had beatings and that sexual assault happened in Maine. They just put it out now in July, 2 months old. They had beatings. There was a stabbing on the riverfront. Everybody knows that one. That happened Sunday night. Last night when they were closing, I guess the guy was saying you need to leave, and he got stabbed by somebody. There was a robbery downtown. They caught the guys, 2 teenagers. We'll see what happens to them. Probably nothing.
7389.
That's a shame. Right? So what did we show you? We showed you
a trip mission over on Ashland and Van Buren, or IMD.
We showed you down there. They have signs that says you can't have a tent here. There's another sign here that says you can't have a tent here, right? So there's 2 places where you can't have a tent. See that there? There's already somebody living there. See that there? They set up a little sleeping area right here. See that there? That's a sleeping area right there. That's a blanket. That's a blanket there. Somebody was sleeping there. See that there? They were sleeping inside that carpet there. See that there? And they're doing drugs over there. You see that there? And they have food there. So they put the food down here. Let me show you this. Let me show you what we're dealing with. Remember I posted that post today about the diseases that we're dealing with in our society? Well, this is an example here, right? In fact, why don't we get another video? Let me show you this. Ready? Let me get my other phone going here. I'm going to show you guys something real quick, right? You just see me, I just got out of my truck, right? SubX.News, it's 5:12 p.m. July 6, 2026. We're at the Chocolate Dreams. This used to be a huge dope selling area. The migrants were selling the dope here for a black gang. They threatened to kill me when I was out here before. Let me just show you this. We just showed you a video of Sacramento by Chicago of flooding by the homeless encampment. And we said, and they made us wear masks. Remember during COVID? Remember that? They said, if you breathe on other people, you're going to make them sick. Well, now we have people living in swamps. We'll go over there by Chicago. I mean, show you that. And diseases and mosquitoes and Zikas and whatever other viruses we have. But we're over here by the chocolate factory. And let me show you this stuff. These are drug addicts, okay? You see this? They leave food out. I don't know if that's food or soap. See that there? Their cigarettes, they're burnt. So that guy burnt the package. You see how dangerous the guy is? See that there? See this? This is brand new. We were here last week. It wasn't here. But let me show you something really bad here. You got all kinds of other weird stuff over here. See that there? You got some kind of Q-tips. Don't know what that is. You got pants here that might have been prostitution. You got some kind of a vape pipe down there, right? You got socks there. So somebody was actually naked here. Somebody was nude here. They took their clothes off. You see that there? See that there? That's what you got. You got cigarette filters. You got all kinds of things here. You got more burnt paper on this side. So somebody was living here the last few days out of the rain. Yet you have signs here that says you can't camp here. We just showed you more signs down by Wolf Point. But we're going to drive a little bit more and show you places where there's people living. So why did I get all those Q-tips? That's kind of strange. Are they trying to keep clean here or what? Kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of strange. Think those Q-tips are for their ears? See, that's somebody's clothes down there. See that there? What's up, my brother? See the Q-tips here? What do you think those Q-tips are for? Kind of strange, isn't it? Why do you got Q-tips out here? Anything? Think it's to clean the ear? Or you think it's to do a little drugs? And why is the cigarette pad all burned out? See that there? Kind of strange, ain't it? Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure this out. We're going to go down a little bit more and see what the other guys are doing. So, one of the things, if you want to be an authentic reporter, not some scam, crime-chasing, crime interventionist, give me stars, I'm praying with you, but please send me money, guy, that's what you report. Some of these clothes are here. Some of these Q-tips are here. We don't, oh, there's the bag of drugs right there. There you go. That's a bag of drugs, ain't it? What do you think that is? Do you think that's drugs? So somebody got naked here. There's the pipe. See, there's a pipe. There's drugs. There's Q-tips all over. There's clothes here. We don't know what happened here. Yeah, that's a drug bag there. Did you see the drug bag? There you go. Bloomer Chocolate Factory. Told you someone was here, right? Oh, we don't lie about this stuff. We show you what we see. You can take it the way I got it. That guy there, or that lady that was here, that's a dangerous person. They're spreading diseases in our society. I got a bunch of people now. You know what? I don't like you. I don't like people who don't have pictures on their platform, right? What is this here? I don't like people who don't have profile pictures. I think they're scammers. I don't care. You have any kind of picture you want. Dope addicts are back over at the Bloomer Chocolate Factory. Why do they use so many Q-tips? Anybody knows? 5:15 p.m. July 6, 2026.
Hi, for Jackson at 10434. 10434.
We can get out of here, right? Thanks for watching. There's where your crime comes from, right there. It's not a harmless crime. Ready to go? Let's keep moving, right? Got a show to put on, right? So, should I feel sorry for this person? Yeah, I have sympathy and empathy for them. But their rights don't waive my rights. They're doing drugs right here on the sidewalk. Who knows what kind of drugs they're doing out here?
Sure, 10-4.
You sent me a written statement of what happened, signed and dated. I'll get it to the right authorities. That's the best I'll do for you. Otherwise, I don't believe you until I see that. It needs to have your full name and address with a return phone number and email.
This is for the air for the mass transit units. Getting an EMS call over to Blue Line at Kedzie Holman, 530 South Kedzie. Coming in as an overdose on the platform on the Holman side. And someone is giving him Narcan. Fire's on the way.
There you go, Blue Line. Oh, what we were just talking about, right? CTA Blue Line Kedzie overdose. Somebody giving him Narcan on the platform. It's already 2, right? Didn't the CTA say it was safe? I don't think it is.
Units in 7 and citywide. We got a person with a gun. It's at Nicholson School, 6006 South Peoria. Male black with a rifle in his jacket. He's wearing a black and white shirt, black pants, white shoes, walking towards the school park. No further. Zone 6 is clear.
Let's pull over here. That's an important call there. Nicholson School, right? Yeah. He got a pistol, that's one thing, but he got a rifle, that's something else.
733 Mary, number for Clark Division Red Light.
Alright, 83 Mary, that's 10474. 10474.
Boy.
88 boy.
Get a Harlem Blue Line check, platform.
Alright, Harlem Blue is 10480. 10480 and 7387 Charlie.
For bus fare southbound 45th National.
That's just in Nicholson School.
That's 10482. 10482.
Remember, those drugs are right for anybody. If kids go play back there, they can get into that stuff. Kids like playing stuff. There's drugs out there. See that? That's what
83 Eddie. 6 posted after for 220 West Garfield, red line. Alright, it's 10486. 10486.
1614.
Yeah.
1614. And we're getting an EMS call, 8545 West Gregory Street, apartment 1 Sam. They're just requesting CPD for forced entry on the south side of the building. The 36-year-old male has got high blood pressure and hypertension. Got a burglar alarm over at 6141 North Lamont, garage door for further information.
88 boy. 88 boy.
I get to the right zone.
Transmission. Irving Park and Montrose stop.
Alright, it's 10497. 10497.
10434.
83 repeat. 83 And this is for the air for the mass transit units. Getting an EMS call over to Blue Line at Kedzie Holman, 530 South Kedzie. Coming in as an overdose on the platform on the Holman side. Someone is giving him units in 7 and citywide. We got a person with a gun. It's Nicholson School, 6006 South Peoria. Male black with a rifle in his jacket. He's wearing black and white shirt, black pants, white shoes, walking towards the park. No further. Zone 6 is clear.
733 Mary, number for Clark Division Red Light.
Person with a gun, Nicholson.
Alright, 83 Mary, that's 10474. 10474.
7383 George.
88 boy. 83 George.
Well, we're up by 6 posted. Sir, can I get a number, please?
Sir, back here is 10513. 10540. 10480 and 7387 Charlie.
For bus fare southbound 45th National.
That's 10482. 10482. 83 Eddie. 6 close to the number for 220 West Starfield, red line. Alright, it's 10486. 10486. Thank you. Yeah.
Boy.
88 boy.
If I get a trip mission.
7389. 7389.
Alright, it's 10497. 10497.
7389 George.
83 George.
Well, red line, 6 posted, sir, man. Can I get a
7389.
Sir, is 105.
7389, go ahead.
103.
Platform with the male black, looks like he's unresponsive, looks like he's overdosed. Looks like he's attempting CPR. He just pulled up on the scene. I'm on the scene here. Okay, you still at the medical district?
There you go. CPR on scene right over here. Blue Line Holman. Medical district.
739, you're
Listen
still
up.
over at the Illinois Medical District?
389, go ahead.
Overdose.
Platform with the male black, looks like he's unresponsive, looks like he's overdosed. It looks like he's attempting CPR. He just pulled up on the scene. I'm on the scene here.
Okay, you still at the medical district? Alright, 739, you're still over at the Illinois Medical District?
Blue Line Holman, right? Oh, it's right over here. So you got two, you got one, someone beaten.
Do I have any Lakeshore driving at that?
And you have another one overdosing,
Citizen
right?
over at 1571 South on Lakeshore Drive. Also facing northbound, there's a CTA bus, disabled, blocking traffic.
Sir, 240, not yet.
Okay, no problem.
There's a homeless drug encampment right here. So why is the drug encampment allowed in this area, not in those other areas? Why? Because they're still cleaning out this area, that's why. They want people out. Right? They want certain people in here. If you count the votes for Brandon, I bet you a lot of them came out of here. Oh, they're young people, they're idealistic, you know, all of that kind of stuff, right? That's what happens. We all change as we go. Some of us, you know, have certain belief systems. My kids that are younger, in their 20s, I'll tell you this, they're more fiscally conservative than me. Absolutely, 100%. But they're liberal in their thinking. I just had an argument with one of my kids over the weekend. Oh yeah, a bad one about certain stuff.
I ran over to that home in Kennedy, Narcan, individual.
Okay.
Looks like he's laid out pretty good, but still breathing.
Okay, alright, 10-4.
So why ain't this guy moving, man? You need to move, my brother. So there's a guy laid out over here on the Blue Line platform, right? This is a heavy drug dealing area over here. Everybody knows that, right? Lots of overdoses, deaths, shootings, stabbings right here. There's a guy shot in his head over here. Chasing somebody away. A drug dealer.
Can we get an event number for
You know, a lot of people say, oh, that's my family member. Condolences. My condolences. No one should pass away. Everyone should live to be 100 years old. That's would be my rule if I had the power. And we call live to 100, that's all you get. Everybody gets 100. You want to go earlier, you can go earlier if you want, but everybody gets 100. You don't get no more, no less. It's your choice if it's less. But I got people telling me my family this, my family that, blah, 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 blah. It's a known drug area. Your family has an arrest history with known drug dealing and other issues. And then don't come onto my page with your graduation picture telling me you didn't ever do nothing wrong, man. We're not into that, man. You know what we're into? You want to tell the truth. You want to talk somebody's story. Everybody has a story, and that's okay. In fact, that's good. Tell the story of the person. Don't lie about the person, right? Especially in your last moments of death. Imagine someone trying to lie about how you died. And that's how they're going to remember you. That's how you died. That's sad. All right, 5:30. Remember, 5:30 news is always local news, right? Told you, SubX is changing.
From the Burn interchange to Iowa Street Feeder and then Addison to Harlem. It's 36 out to O'Hare, and you'll lose about 4 minutes. They're 4 minutes slower in the express. You might want to stay in the locals. The Iowa 90 O'Hare extension eastbound, heavy from Bessie Coleman Drive to the Tri-State. The Eisenhower now an hour 2 in from the Jane Addams. Outbound's a 15-minute trip to I-90. The Stevenson, 43 minutes in from I-355 to DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's a 44-minute ride to the Veterans. The Dan Ryan now 30 minutes in. You're heavy from Pershing to the Jane Byrne interchange. Outbound's a 22-minute ride to the Split. From the Metro Traffic Center, your next traffic at 5:38 on News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The WBBM AccuWeather forecast says we have mainly clear skies through the overnight hours. Our lows are going to be in the 60s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warmer, still just not that humid. Our high up to 86. Tomorrow night looks a lot like tonight, mostly clear, lows in the 60s. Wednesday, mostly sunny, even warmer, and a little more humid. Our high up to 89. Right now, it is 73 degrees along Chicago's lakefront and a mostly clear 78 at O'Hare at 5:30.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
Good evening. I'm Haley Hansen. These are the top stories on News Radio WBBM. Prosecutors are sharing more details about the two people charged with dismembering a body and concealing the death.
This is Nancy Hardy. Last week's heat wave had deadly consequences for a handful of people in the Chicago area.
Governor Pritzker signs an Illinois artificial intelligence accountability bill. Plus, Maine Democratic Senate nominee Graham Plattner says he's reflecting on a path forward amid sexual assault allegations. WBBM Sports, U.S. and Belgium meet in the World Cup at 7 tonight. WBBM Business.
I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg. Wall Street sees more gains on a snapback rally in chipmakers. The Dow today up 157 points to a new all-time high. The Nasdaq up 288. The S&P added 54.
And we're going to have a mild overnight, mainly clear skies with a low of 63. Right now it is 73 along Chicago's lakefront at 5:31. A homicide investigation that started with the gruesome discovery of a severed arm in a central Illinois lake is taking another turn. WBBM's Sarah Herrera reports.
His half-brother and his wife, who is 24 years older than him, are accused of trying to cover up the killing. According to court records, it all started with a fight. 26-year-old James Adams allegedly stabbed his 38-year-old half-brother Dale Wayne Turner of the Plainfield area inside a home, but later claimed it was all in self-defense. Investigators say they found Turner's head, neck, and torso inside a locked basement freezer. Court records allege Adams and 62-year-old Robin Turner later dismembered the body and dumped the remaining parts in Lake Mattoon. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The deaths of 4 people here in the Chicago area now being attributed to heat-related causes following last week's hot spell.
They range in age from 44 to 71. 3 people in the city of Chicago plus 1 man in Evanston died from the heat, according to the Cook County Medical Examiner. An autopsy found 44-year-old David Gonzalez died of heat stroke, but he, like the others, had medical complications. Hypertension, diabetes, obesity, or cardiovascular disease played a role in their deaths. During the 1995 heat wave in Chicago, 739 people died. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A 27-year-old woman is dead after she was hit by a driver in Hampshire in the far northwest suburbs overnight. Police say she was hit by a vehicle on US 20 between Big Timber and Gas Roads around 12:40 a.m. The woman from Pingree Grove was pronounced dead at the scene, and police have not identified any potential suspects. It's 5:33. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a landmark AI regulation bill.
Governor Pritzker says the Artificial Intelligence Safety Measures Act is first-in-the-nation legislation that proactively seeks to find risk to embed safety and accountability into the AI industry.
We are requiring large AI companies to develop risk mitigation frameworks and undergo mandatory annual independent third-party audits, a first for any state AI legislation. legislation.
He says Illinois will continue to be a leader in the country for holding AI companies accountable while still supporting technological innovation.
We've taken a big first step toward the most robust artificial intelligence safety frameworks in the nation, placing us at the vanguard of demanding transparency and accountability. There will be more to do on this front as this new technology becomes even more widely used, and Illinois will continue to play a leadership role in it.
Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
In national news, the Democratic nominee for Senate in Maine, Graham Plattner, says he's reflecting on a path forward in the race as he denies a new published allegation that he sexually assaulted a former girlfriend.
The sexual assault allegation is made by a woman who dated Graham Plattner on and off for more than 2 years. He tells Politico in late 2021, Plattner entered her home while drunk and forced himself on her. While the Democrat challenging incumbent Senator Susan Collins says in a video message that the allegation is false.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful the political reality will reflect. We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward.
Under state law in Maine, Plattner has a week to decide whether to withdraw from the race in time for the party to put someone else's name on the November ballot. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump will head overseas today for the latest NATO summit, where he will come face-to-face with many allies who he's heavily criticized over the past several weeks. ABC's Selena Wang is outside the White House with more.
Trump leaves for Turkey later tonight, walking into this NATO summit angry at the very allies that he's about to meet with. President Trump has spent months blasting them for refusing to join in on the war in Iran and for not spending enough on their own defense. President Trump is going to be talking, we're told by a senior administration official, with these world leaders about protecting shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
U.S. officials say the summit will measure the progress of NATO allies' commitments to spend 5% of their GDP on defense. A report from the White House says the Smithsonian's American History Museum is telling the nation's story in too negative a light.
The White House report accuses the National Museum of American History of using the nation's story as a political instrument to, quote, divide, dispirit, and discourage our citizens. The report points to a variety of exhibits on women, immigrants, and people of color, alleging they cast America as a problematic country irredeemably conceived and operating today as an instrument of racism and oppression. The Smithsonian, run by a congressionally appointed board of regents, says it remains committed to serving the public with nonpartisan and independent scholarship. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Gas prices are next. It's 5:36.
You see what they said? Look, I don't know what those Smithsonian things are. I'll look it up. So you're the National Museum. I get it. You should tell facts. But to say that America's an oppressor? You're out of your mind, man. That's the opposite of the basis of how it was established. We threw out the colonists. Those are the Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers creates those curriculums. These are terrorists who are what? Government agents. They do separation. Why? Because then they can arrest you. They say, oh, like that the NATO 3, the beer guys. There were some guys who used to make beer in Bridgeport. Some FBI agent went to them and said, you know what, let's build some Molotov cocktails for NATO. And they were drunk and high, and they said, oh, whatever, yeah. And then they got arrested and convicted. A couple of them got convicted. They plead out. But imagine that. They were just making beer with beer cans. And then you had an FBI agent that says, let's blow this stuff up. They didn't want to blow. They never were into blowing that stuff up. But the point is, I'm trying to say, that's the same thing you're hearing, right? You're hearing in the Smithsonian that America's bad. Right? America's bad. Wait. That's the National Museum. Why would you put that in our museum? You can put the other sides of the story. You need to have Ku Klux Klan, white supremacists, black nationalists. You need to have the loyalists. Those were they were called in the old days. You know, the people that were with Britain. There was a bunch of them. They're called loyalists. You need to write all of that stuff up. Yeah. Lynchings, all of that needs to be part of our history. That is our history. Slavery is our history. The Civil War is our history. Racism is in our history. Xenophobia is in our history. That's a fact. But there's no other society that has more freedoms than us. So why would you put into the museum that we're the bad country? That doesn't even make sense unless what? You somehow got a college degree from a professor like Bill Ayers, who was a professor at UIC, and says, you know what, America's a bad country. And then you become the museum guy that writes all the reports on the museum, right? That goes on the plaques that last there for 50 years. And now you're what? Indoctrinating a whole generation of people of saying, yeah, America's bad. What? We're bad? Really? So the country I live in is a bad country? Why would someone write that? That's in a college and has a college degree. Why would you write against your own country? Look, everyone has a right to freedom of speech, and we all have a right to say what we want. And there's a lot of bad things that our country has done. We dropped 2 atomic bombs from where my wife is from. My wife had cancer as a baby from those atomic bombs. My family, my wife, was affected by the war of atomic bombs being dropped. Were they justified? Was it rationalized? Should it have been done or not? You know, that's a debate. The debate. But it was a war. United States decided to do something and did. You know what one of the best 4th of July presentations was from Japan in Tokyo, the Tokyo Tower. The losing country said what? We respect the United States. Because what? Most of the stuff they have today are from us. We helped them rebuild that country. Same thing with Germany. Do they agree with all the stuff we say? No. But they don't put in their national museum that Japan was bad and the oppressor. Why would you do that? You just heard it on this radio show that the United States government is finding in our National Museum where they talk bad about our own country in the National Museum. You're out of your mind. Who let that happen? It's crazy out here. Who let that happen? How did that happen? How did that happen? How did in our National Museum someone write bad things about our own country? That I'm not saying you can't have a debate. We had a civil war here. We had 2 sides. That there's reason. You know, my kid is antebellum. He studied that. He loved that stuff. If you want to have a discussion with him on the Civil War and why it really happened, and it was a little bit about slavery, but it was about some other things. And it wasn't about slavery. It was part of it, but that wasn't the big part of it. It was more about industrialization. That's what it was about. And corporatization, corporate ownership, right? There's a police car just passed, right? We're going to the overdose here, right? So these are the things that we have to start discussing. Again, I don't like everything that Trump does. I don't like that he made $2 billion, but I understand it. I understand it. But what else did he uncover? He goes, look at all this stuff that's in our museums. Why would you write that against us in our own national museum? Imagine that you go from a foreign country, you come here to visit America, whatever it is, and they say, yeah, America is the oppressor inside of their national museum. I bet you those people say, what the hell is this crap? Who wrote this crap? You know where those complaints might have came from? The foreign visitors, you know, foreigners know more about our history than we do sometimes. They might have said, who wrote this crazy stuff that America's bad? Why would you write that? That's strange. This is kids, right? Let's see. It's supposed to be an overdose on the platform here. I think I seen the cop just drive away. Well, they drove away. And there's a police station right there. Who makes those signs? That's weird. Those Build Better signs. Those are anti-union signs. Those are bootleg signs. So those are the things that I think are starting to concern me, right? Those are the direction of where I wanted to go with SubX News. I talked to my wife today. We might publish a couple articles this week together. She's a really smart woman. She knows a lot of stuff about things that, man, what's that? That's a whole project torn down. See that there? I just seen that in fact. What is that there? See that there? That's housing project. These are all scattered site housing. This is some of the most valuable land here. Why? Because it's very low priced and dangerous. So if you can get it super low, and then you sell one of these condos for 1.5 million, you just made a lot of money. Imagine if you can get one of these lots for 10 bucks, right? You know what I'm talking about? Man, that guy just drove off. You see, I gotta watch it. It's my problem. This is very, very gentrifying there. This is where you can make the most money if you're into that stuff right here. I just seen sun out of the corner of my eyes. That's why there's so much violence here, right? They let the drugs and the violence continue, right? You don't see that stuff in certain neighborhoods. You see gangs and drugs and killings in other neighborhoods, but where the highest gentrification is that's where you see the most killings. I mean, that's old. If you don't know that one, I don't know how to explain it. If you don't believe in that, then you need to read a lot of books. That gets to basic knowledge of urban renewal, right? The fallacy of it, which is good because we need places to live. We want to have safe spaces, but you also want to make sure you're not harming people in the middle of doing it. Right here, right? It's right here, right? You see right here. Those are the projects, right? What is this? I don't even know where I'm at. See that there? That's all burned down. Let me see where I'm at. I'll get you the address. That's all burned down right there. That's housing projects. Remember, the housing project used to be concrete. You couldn't burn them. It was almost impossible. So we're at Lexington and Kedzie. Let's see this thing here. I'll make a video. 5:45, right? It's 5:45 p.m., July 6, 2026. We're in the alley between Kedzie and Albany. So Kedzie is right there. And I was driving by here and I just noticed this. This looks like a CHA scattered site housing that's abandoned. See that there? Look at that. It's all abandoned. And it looks like it got burned out almost. I'm gonna go into the front of this place. They're stripping it, that's for sure. See that there? This is scattered site housing. There you go. They ripped out all the meters there. Right? They're gonna rip out they ripped out the copper wire is what they did. See, they ripped out the copper wire out of here. See that? There used to be copper wire. This is not even an old building because you can tell by that meter. This is a pretty new building. See that there? See that? It's all busted up. See up there? It's all busted up. And this ain't an old building. See that? Yeah, it's all messed up in there. It's moldy and stuff. Well, maybe you can smell the mold coming out. That's bad.
Frequency mode.
There's some more over there. See those houses over there? Let me go over here. I'm pretty sure that's scattered site housing right there. Let's see this here. See, and the mayor keeps saying we have a housing. Yeah, there was buildings over there. You see that? They're torn down already. Sorry about that. See that? It looks like those were torn down already. There's foundations there, but they're all torn down. See that there? Well, man, they ain't got no roof there. Yeah, this was scattered site housing. You can tell because they got the bars on them. They mandated it. We should check this property out. It's got a for sale sign over here. We can see if this was at one time CHA land, right? There you go, man. That's all messed up. Now it's private. I bet you this was scattered site housing. Right there, man. See that there? Look at that. But they're not going to let the blacks back in here. This is all going to be gentrified here. I'll talk to the neighbors down the street. There you go, SubX.News. We're going to do a little investigating here. This looks like it was scattered site housing. They had some kind of issues here. They had a bunch of fires, right? And now it's all messed up and not being fixed. So we're gonna figure out who owns this land, right? Remax Premier, right? We'll figure it out. SubX.News. We got a lot of housing here that needs to be fixed, but it's not being fixed.
7353.
7353.
We had a number at Howard and around.
Lexington and Kedzie, right?
Sure, it's going to be 10833. 10833.
Destroyed and abandoned CHA scattered site housing, Lexington and Kedzie. 5:45 p.m., July 6, 2026. That's pretty messed up. That's housing there. See that there? You know why they're not fixing it? They don't want black people here. That's why. You know, people call me all kinds of things. So what do you call a guy? What do you call a guy that rides around in his truck, does live videoing, and says the reason that ain't fixed is because they're against black people? Right? See that there? What do you call a reporter like that? Right? Kind of weird, huh?
383 Eddie. 83 Eddie. ISP, there's an accident on the expressway going inbound. Injury, but I can't tell from up here. Okay, inbound where? Ryan? Garfield. 50. Alright, 56 inbound at the Ryan. It's a two-car accident. Are they local or express? Local. Okay, and you can't tell if they need an ambulance, right? And they're getting out of their car, but I really can't tell. Alright, 10-4, we'll notify state. 10-4, thank you, ma'am. Alright, you're welcome.
Alright, ready to move along? Let's do some radio calls, right, for a few seconds, see what we missed. And we'll go back on the radio right at 6 o'clock, right? Now you know why I listen to
7383 Eddie, do you have a vehicle description?
Black Kia, and there's it looks like a silver Nissan.
Okay, 10-4.
Garbage truck that might have been involved. All of them are pulled over to the right shoulder.
There you go. See, this is a housing here. Those are the sewers there for it. Look at that. And there's the parking garage, right? That one has. These were the apartments here, right? See, there's the parking garage because it's got a cutout there. Yeah, these were buildings here at one time. See that there? See how much you want to bet that that's going to be to some kind of gentrifier there, huh? I'll leave this up here. How about that? So garbage truck, maybe they said. Did you hear that?
83 Eddie.
6 post the number for 220 West Garfield, red line.
Alright, it's 1046. 1046.
So you guys can get a nice view of it. Look at how many families could live there, right? Look at that. Abandoned, huh?
I get a trip.
It's an abandoned area.
Alright, it's 10497. 10497.
7383 George.
83 George.
Live red line. Negative at number 2.
Tarmac is 10513. 105.
Well, go ask these people.
7389.
7389.
And these are more over here, right?
7389.
7389.
How you doing? The police station's right there. I think this is the same housing here, right?
Looks like he's unresponsive. Looks like he's overdosed. Looks like he's breathing. attempting CPR.
It's the courtroom here.
CFD just pull up on the scene. I'm on the scene here.
We didn't see him.
Still at the medical district? Alright, 739, you're still over at the Illinois Medical District? Do I have any Lakeshore driving nets yet? Getting an assistant citizen over at 1571 South on Lakeshore Drive. Also facing northbound, there's a CTA bus, disabled, blocking traffic.
240, not yet.
It's a garbage truck accident on Lakeshore Drive.
739.
There's families here.
The ambulance 55 and 107, or truck or whatever they call it.
Okay, and you're still at the medical district, or where you at?
If I ran over to that home and kind of the Narcan individual, looks like he's laid out pretty good, but still breathing.
Okay, alright, 10-4.
3 David.
83 David.
Can we get into that number then for Sheriff?
It's all heavily gentrifying over here.
Sheriff, 69 red line.
69 in red. Okay, that's 10572. 10572.
See, they got them all over here, right?
83 in the camp.
I have written number for Chicago red line, please.
Chicago is 10575. 87 Charlie.
So we're at Lexington and Kids. You see that? There. See, it's all burned out.
Not sure. Or, I'm sorry, 33 is.
It's all burned out, all messed up, right? See that there? It's all messed up. And there used to be some right there. Right? That's how they build them as duplexes like that over there. That's the same ones over there. There's Lexington and Kedzie. That was CHA there, man, torn down. That's some stuff
for Chicago red line, please.
West 38th Street.
That's 10927. 10927.
383 George.
Okay, thanks.
And 6530 call, that was for 5080?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's going to be John King, 322901. 322901, and the event is 03371. 03371.
383 George.
83 George, go ahead.
Did I call about a person with a gun on a train on the red line anywhere?
No, nothing yet.
Hey, there's some right here. That's the same ones, right? Right there. See that there? Those are the same style. So they had them here. So there must have been 4 of them. There might have been some right there too. So you see, there was. What I gotta do is dig up the plans and see what happened to those, right?
That's 70 Paul.
See that there? Because this is heavily gentrified over here. We'll show you how much it costs over here. These are $1 million homes right here. I'll show you. I know this area. They're getting pushed out. These people, they ain't gonna be here probably. They might not be here in a year or two. If Brandon gets elected again, then there will be no black people that live here. It'll be 0. Why don't you check these houses over here, right? There's expensive homes right here. 3301 Lexington, right? Let's throw that in there. 3301 West Lexington, right? See how much this costs. 3301 West Lexington. 3301 West Lexington.
That's 10638. 10638.
87 Adam.
87 Adam.
Eastbound 39th and Hollister plus 8141.
That house there is 350,000, so it's not gentrifying yet. If it's gentrifying, they're over 400. So that house is $350,000. Those look like scattered site housing there. Let's keep moving.
We're going to use event 10649. 10649.
83 Charlie.
There's people sitting in cars doing shit, man. It's weird, man.
10656. 10656.
83 David. 300. Ready?
get a number for road
David, can you get a set number for the 69th red line?
You guys ready for the 6 o'clock news?
David, it's 10953. 10953.
Let's do the 6 o'clock news.
If we want to get to these guys, they're going to have to find guns. They're like Marquetta, like 63rd, south of 53rd.
63rd has a gun. Alright, that's what he just said, right? 63rd and Red Line has a gun. That's what he just said. Let's double check that. Didn't they say crime is down? We'll check that call real quick, right?
David, can you get a set number for the 69th red line?
Sorry, 83 David, 10953. And 738 Eddie.
If we want to get to these guys, they're going to have to pick guards. They're like Marquetta, like 63rd, south of 53rd.
There's somebody with a gun on the red line. That's what they're looking for. We're going to listen to the 6 o'clock news now, right? Remember, listen to what changes. That's what you want to listen to.
54. I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg.
Mainly clear and mild through the rest of tonight. Lows in the low 60s. Right now it is 72 along the lakefront and a mostly clear 78 at O'Hare at 6 o'clock. Here's ABC.
From ABC News, I'm Stephanie Officer. Life-threatening flooding inundating the Northeast, putting more than 60 million Americans on alert. New York's major airports reporting hundreds of flight delays. ABC News senior meteorologist Melissa Griffin.
This rain is falling fast. It's coming down hard, and it's not over yet. We're still seeing on the radar lit up across parts of New York. That includes Long Island, right up through New Haven, Connecticut, right into Newport, Rhode Island. So very coastal. Significant risk for flash flooding. This is areas from the Jersey Shore, Long Island, right up through parts of southeastern New England into the Cape Cod area. This is where we could see those significant rainfall rates, 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates. That would lead to the dangerous flash flooding scenes that we've seen over the weekend that continue into today.
In Ohio Sunday night, a police officer was killed after responding to a 911 call regarding a break-in and gunshots in Rittman. The suspect and 2 other victims are also dead. An update today from Wayne County Sheriff Thomas Ballinger.
We have lost an officer in a line of duty, and 2 other ones have been injured. And then also a canine, a dog from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office was also injured.
The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation is looking into the incident. Rittman Police Sergeant Scott Reeves, a 10-year veteran of the force and previous Wayne County deputy sheriff, was killed. 4 more officers, all from the Medina County Sheriff's Office, were hit. 2 are in stable condition. 2 others were treated at the scene. Canine Vic remains in serious condition. High drama surrounding Prince Harry and his trip to the UK. The former royal went in support of charity events. Harry went solo after trying to ensure his family's safety, after a government committee refused to authorize taxpayer-funded security. Well, in another last-minute switch, Harry has decided not to stay at Buckingham Palace. You're listening to ABC News.
Report of a man with a gun on
Is
the
your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9. And
now is the local part,
NewsRadio.com.
It's 6:03 on Monday, July the 6th. And good evening to you. I'm Roger Plummer. It's 78 degrees in Chicago under mostly sunny skies. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warmer, but not that humid, a high of 86. We'll check the AccuWeather 5-day forecast at 6:15. But first, our top local story on News Radio WBBM. The former deputy convicted of killing Springfield resident Sonia Massey wants to be released from prison. As WBBM's Sarah Herrera reports, he has served less than 6 months of his 20-year prison sentence.
It was around 1 a.m. in July 2 years ago when 36-year-old Sonia Massey dialed 911 to report a possible prowler outside her Springfield home. The responding deputy later fatally shot her. An encounter captured on body camera video and seen around the country. Capital News Illinois reports Sean Grayson is now asking the Illinois Prisoner Review Board for compassionate release because his attorney says the 32-year-old has stage 4 colon cancer. The board, which has the final say, is scheduled to hear the request July 31st. Massey's family says Grayson should remain behind bars. Sarah Herrera, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A woman is dead after an apparent hit and run early this morning in the far northwestern suburbs.
The woman was riding a bike on Route 20 near Big Timber Road when she was hit, according to Hampshire police. They say they learned about the crash in the rural area at about 12:40 in the morning when someone called 911. Police say the caller told them another driver had stopped to help the woman before leaving. The department says the 27-year-old victim was from neighboring Pingree Grove and died at the scene. As police and Kane County law enforcement look to identify the driver, they're asking anyone who may have been in the area at the time to contact them. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
We are learning more about what led to the drowning deaths of 3 children in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. The fire department there says 10 people were out on the water in a 25-foot boat when severe storms arrived last Friday afternoon. Officials say large waves overtook the boat, causing it to take on water, list to the side, and eventually roll over and sink. Divers found the missing children, ages 10, 7, and 6, in the boat about 32 feet deep. The children's names have not been publicly released. The fire department says the people on the boat hailed from Batavia, Wheaton, and Fontana, Wisconsin. The search for a new Chicago police superintendent begins in earnest this week. WBBM's Bernie Tafoya reports.
Starting with Police Superintendent Larry Snelling's retirement next Wednesday, a nationwide search will begin for his permanent replacement. The Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability will have 120 days to come up with 3 finalist names for Mayor Brandon Johnson to choose from. But first, the commission is required to hold 4 public hearings to listen to Chicagoans about the kind of person they want in a new top cop. The commission will then go through resumes and conduct interviews. In the meantime, the Chicago Police Department will be run by Interim Superintendent Fred Waller, the same person who was Interim Superintendent before Larry Snelling was chosen. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The 4th of July has come and gone, but America's 250th anniversary celebrations continue. A public reading of the Declaration of Independence will be held at Chicago's Newberry Library on Wednesday, the 250th anniversary of the first public reading. Jill Austin of the Newberry says the Declaration is an old document with a living message.
It's wonderful to think about how the American Revolution and the formation of these words to form the Declaration of Independence also inspired countries and movements across the world.
There will be public readings of the Declaration of Independence throughout the world on Wednesday. All eyes are on the U.S. men's national team tonight as they face Belgium in their biggest World Cup game yet.
The stakes are high for the U.S. team's game against Belgium in Seattle. The U.S. has a chance to win 2 knockout games in a World Cup for the first time and reach quarterfinals for the first time since 2002. The U.S. faces Belgium on the heels of a red card American forward Fowler Balogun received at last week's game against Bosnia-Herzegovina, which the U.S. won 2-0. FIFA reversed Balogun's 1-game suspension following a reported call from President Donald Trump, clearing the way for Balogun to play against Belgium. Carolina Garibay.
There we go, baby, Trump.
WBBM.
It's 6:08.
He's like, yeah, you gotta let that guy play, man.
We say good evening to Abby Ryan. Good evening.
There we go. Don't forget, tonight, 7 o'clock, USA's playing, right?
It is heavy past Peterson to the junction at 20. Outbound, you've got a...
So this, you see the gentrification happening here, right? You see it all around you, don't you? This gentrification happening. Yeah, you have to notice it. We're at Pulaski right now. There's killings happening all up and down these blocks. All up and down these blocks. It was the mass shooting was right behind us over the weekend. It was on Hamlin over there in Florida. Because everybody knows there was a mass shooting. 7 in one place and one guy like a block or two away. 8 people were shot, 1 dead, right? Everybody knows that one? There's this Van Buren right over here. They reported that mass shooting on the news, right? We did. I know they're not talking about it today, right? They're not saying if it wasn't for that mass shooting, they would say, oh, the crime numbers are down, which they are. Look at that house is burned down right there. See that? It's pretty bad out here, right? It's burned out. It's not even funny out here, man, the way it looks. There you go, right? There's a white hooker right there, right? Pretty wild over here. Film more. See that? It's all messed up around here, man.
It's a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm.
This is, if you wanted to get rich, this is where you would do it. It's very dangerous, though. There's a lot of gentrification happening here. This is where you would buy, right here. I think Madison Avenue is already too expensive.
Right now, here. Sun is shining at 78
There's the girl walking around. Right? There's the second one, right?
Along the lakefront, just 72
There's people with kids over there, right?
The status of an historic Chicago theater. It's 6:10.
We're on the west side of here. We're crawling through some neighborhoods. I think that's Homan Square over there, right? We're past Homan Square. Homan Square is in back of us. Because we were on Kedzie before. Homan is 3 blocks west of Kedzie. Yeah, we're already by Keeler. We're by K-Town now. You're gonna see a bunch of bad stuff. I'm gonna close my windows over here. It's bad over here. There's a sex camp here where they give out drugs and sex, right, where the hookers hang out, right? You'll see it coming out pretty soon. We stumbled upon this place by accident one time. This is, some parts of this are the west side, some parts are south side, North Lawndale. Right? It gets split up over here, depending on where. 24th Street is usually the border here. Past 24th is considered south side, even though we are on the south side of Chicago right now. See that, man? There's all kinds of empty buildings around here. See that there? That's a nice one there. That used to be a store there. See that one there? Yeah, watch here, man. Oh man, there's a lot of boarded up stuff. I want to change my camera so I can switch it a little bit. Twist it. Switch it on the holders, right? There's a lot of guys hanging around here, and there's a lot of abandoned buildings. North Lawndale is close to being over with for gentrification. You almost can't buy anymore here because the Hispanics tried to buy in when they were pushing them out of Pilsen. Little Village is solid, but you see that? So you got how many? You got 1, 2, 3. These might be owned by the land bank, right? Cook County owns these. Cook County Land Bank, white people from Evanston own these. Evanston Oak Park, they're the real estate people. When that got kind of worth, I got a report one day, it's not ready yet. Could take me a few more years to write it, because these are very well, there you go, man. It's all busted up. See that there? It's all busted up. It's a nice neighborhood. See that? That's the Cook County Land Bank. See that there? I showed you. See that there? That's what the sign says. The sign says Cook County Land Bank. So the Cook County is part of the gentrification here. You kind of get it? So they let the land dilapidate. They cut the grass, and then people say, well, why ain't you selling this land over here? Why aren't you putting this? See, the lady got killed right here. I think this is, yeah, the white car, she got shot in the head over here somewhere. I think this is the corner. Yeah, I think this is. Maybe not, I don't remember. They look the same. Some of these places look the same. See all the empty land here?
The number 4 Chicago red line, please.
Sorry, that's 11135.
300.
8300.
Get a red number for Roosevelt red line, please.
Roosevelt is 10663. 10663.
4714.
People sit on their porches here, watch.
Yeah, the link at 78 Milwaukee Avenue, please.
And the land bank.
The number is 10672.
Cook County Land Bank. Some more Cook County Land Bank. Why aren't they building houses here, right?
83 boys.
83 boys.
That number for 97 Valley.
10676. 10676.
7383 George.
7383 George.
You just did a walk around 605 and didn't see anything on it.
You did a walkthrough? Okay, that's fine.
Somebody's car got ripped off.
87 Charlie.
Not trying 3rd Street Nashville northbound.
Take that 10717. 10717.
7383 George.
We're gonna go in a circle here.
The red line and
we were here for a, where are we at? Kidville, right?
Take event 10727. 10727.
We're gonna do a quick.
Number for parking position.
We're at 15th and Kedville. We're going north. We're at 15th and Kedville. We're going north. It's 6:17 p.m. July 6, 2026. I want to show you North Lawndale Gentrification. This was, most of this 20 years ago was African American. It's changing now to more Hispanic because there's a lot of people being pushed out of Pilsen, and they're coming in here, and there's a lot of land that's abandoned and owned by the Cook County Land Bank. Let me show you this. A lot of these empty spots. See that sign there? That's Cook County Land Bank. Let me see it there. Right there, that's a sign that says Cook County Land Bank. So the Cook County is part of the gentrification here. There's another one. See that? Cook County Land Bank over there? These are all Cook County Land Banks. So that means at one time there was a house on that property that was owned or operated or something to do with the Cook County Land Bank, right? We were here for a domestic disturbance in that building over there 2 weeks ago. I think that was Hispanics were fighting or something like that. So again, what I'm saying is there's Hispanics now coming into this neighborhood, right? Where they never used to be, right? There's a Hispanic guy right there, and these are CHA scattered site housing homes here. Right? We were just here at this place, right? They were fighting at night, and I think they were Hispanics.
Are they local or express?
We just want to take you around.
Right?
to show you that there's a lot of land. There's a lot of land, and there's a lot of buildings that are available in certain neighborhoods. I don't know if you're going to be able to buy anything here anymore.
Black Kia, and there's it looks like a silver Nissan.
Car crash.
Okay, 10-4.
That happened at 551.
Garbage truck that might have been involved. All of them are pulled over to the right shoulder.
All right, 10-4. All right, state police has been notified already.
So, all right, let me show you this, right? I don't want to go too many times around here because they might think something. So you see all the empty land here? And now you're going to see, and I'm going to point it out to you on the other side. Right? I got to watch out. These guys aren't afraid of cops, so if they think I'm a cop, they might shoot at me, right? It's kind of neighborhood, right? So you see all the empty land here? And there's Hispanic kids riding their bicycles coming up. You'll see it. You'll see it right now on your left. So there's Hispanics moving into the neighborhood, and they're probably migrants, right? They're behind me right now. You'll see them passing us, right? So you see all the empty land, and there's abandoned buildings here too. And the point I'm making here is this. This is a transition neighborhood. It's going from black to Hispanic. That's what's happening here, this neighborhood. There's certain areas that go from black to white. This one's going black to Hispanic. Same thing in Inglewood. In some parts of Inglewood, it's going black to Hispanic. There's a lot of people are being pushed out of pills. See that there? Boarded up there. There's another one here. There's another one right there. There's another one next to it. See that there? There's another one here on the corner here, right?
If we want to get to these guys, they're going to have to put guns and like mark out there like 60
and there's a whole bunch of them over here, right? See that there? See all of these buildings are abandoned? These are all land bank. That sign there, it says land bank in that lot there. The cross on the left side says land bank. So this, I have to start investigating. Why are all these places abandoned here? Are they actually doing... Is the Cook County Land Bank part of the gentrification? My answer was a few years ago when I did a lot more gentrification work is yes. The Cook County creates the conditions that suppress the prices of these people that used to live here. These were all immigrants at one time. Eastern European, Hispanic immigrants, whatever they were, right? Over time, there might have been some Italians here in this part. And then what happens? They do something. They add something to the neighborhood. They take away stuff from the neighborhood. And then what happens? They don't give the right services, right? Like NGOs, the police, the fire departments, schools, maybe, whatever it is. Then the neighborhood goes down and then becomes abandoned like you see now. And then what do? They market it as gentrification, renewal, reinvestment. But it's not cheap, right? We'll check out the prices here for you, by the way. Now, this is a North Lawndale here. It's dangerous in some of these areas. You got to be careful. They do machine guns out here. I've been on 1 or 2 machine gun killings here. So you need to be really careful where you go around here.
What's the turn of his waistband? That is on
7383 Lincoln.
There you go. Now we're at 15th and Keeler, right? So we went in a circle there so you can see all of that.
Alright, that's 11135. 1113.
There's a lot of empty land here.
7362.
Can I get an event for SubX red line drop off?
Alright, that's 11146. 11146.
So yeah,
8300.
for Parcel Press, please.
I've done this area here at night. I've showed you guys this area, right? So there you go. What's the difference between this and Chicago Heights? Nothing. It's the same. They're kicking blacks out. That's why they're the same. They're kicking the black people out of here. This one now it's happening through attrition. It's called. See the big land here? They got there's projects right over there. There's a guy right behind me. These are projects right here, right? And that's Hispanic area past the viaduct over there. This is Mason Elementary School, right? Yeah, Hispanics live in these already, in these projects. Yeah, some of them might be squatters, who knows? I don't know if this is CHA or scattered site.
That says 11201. 736.
36, can I get an event? Red line.
That says 11205. 11205.
383 G George.
83 George.
Post, red line, Burbank, can I get an event?
Her map is 11208.
These are all brownstones and graystones. Really expensive homes here. Extremely expensive.
I got 735.
Those graystones are extremely expensive houses. Why? Because they were built the right way. That's why.
Okay, 735 Lincoln.
They're built to last for over 100 years.
Southbound from Burbank to...
Most of those had all nice woodwork in them, cabinets, all of that stuff. Built by hand. Before the machinery. Built the garbage paper cabinets you have in your house today. If you bought new cabinets in the last 10 to 20 years, yours are made out of either sawdust or paper. Pulp, it's called. Just mushed up stuff.
Quality of life.
Alright, that's going to be 11235. 11235. 732.
447th red line, drop off.
11214. 112.
Units in 3 to Citywide, we have one call of a person with a gun, 6945 South Clyde, Apartment 203. Caller reported the male was beating his wife. He is armed with a gun. When we asked what the type of question, he said it's a toy gun. District 3, something.
The 19th and Harding.
385.
This is North Lawndale.
8500.
Can I give you your bed number for 47 to the red line?
It's 11269. 11269.
385 Nora.
7385 Nora.
Well, can I get a bed number for red line St. Lake?
That's 11273.
97 Adam.
97 Adam.
Correct. Clinton Blue Line.
North Lawndale Gentrification at 6:15 p.m. July 6, 2026. We'll probably end the broadcast a little past 6:30 after the 6:30 news, as we're gonna go watch that soccer game with my kids. Right. This is traffic right now. See if they cleared up that garbage. There was a garbage truck involved in something, I think on Lakeshore Drive maybe, or it was on one of the bigger expressways. This is
Kennedy outbound 17 to Montrose, 35 to the airport, inbound 38 O'Hare to downtown, 23 coming in from the Edens Junction. I-190 headed eastbound, heavy Bessie Coleman to 294. Eisenhower out 36 to I-90, in from it 50. The outbound Stevenson 31 to 355. Inbound 32, Ryan 23 in, 15 out. Next report from the Metro Traffic Center, 638 News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The AccuWeather forecast tonight, mainly clear skies, a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, warmer, not that humid, a high of 86. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies, a low of 66. Wednesday, mostly sunny, very warm and more humid, a high of 89. Then Thursday, more clouds than sunshine, humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, a high near 85. Right now at O'Hare, 78. Along the lakefront, 72 degrees.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
It's 6:30. Good evening to you. I'm Roger Plummer. These are the top stories on News Radio WBBM.
This is Bernie Tafoya. 25 years later, and still no clue what happened to missing Chicago sisters Tiandra and Diamond Bradley.
A Lake County, Illinois canine is earning some extra praise for helping to make several arrests. New details are emerging about the two suspects accused of trying to dispose of a dismembered body in a central Illinois lake. Plus, a Maine Senate candidate is considering next steps for his campaign amid sexual assault allegations. WBBM Sports in the World Cup, Spain wins, and the U.S. plays Belgium next hour. The Cubs and the White Sox have the day off. WBBM Business, the Dow Jones finishes up 156 points for a new record high close. The Nasdaq climbs up 288 points. And the S&P 500 finishes up 54 points. AccuWeather says tonight mainly clear skies.
You think poor people used to live here?
Mostly sunny.
You think that's a poor person's house?
A high of 86. Right now at O'Hare.
You think that's a poor person's house there? Look at that. Those are granite columns, man. 1822 here. Those are granite columns, man. You ain't seeing that. There ain't no Tinley Park that has that, bro. The most expensive house in Tinley Park don't have that. The most expensive house, maybe in Evanston, might have that. Maybe. See that? Those are granite, man. That ain't no joke. We're in North Lawndale, man. You see all these? Those are all mansions.
350 years of America.
Right there on that side, too.
25 of those years belong to Tiandra and Diamond.
Smith believes someone known to the girl's mother took them. She urges law enforcement to start from square one to find out what happened to them. She says family doesn't give up looking for answers.
We talk about it, we cry about it, we pray about it, but it's just been no change.
Smith encourages anyone who may have information about what would now be the missing 35 and 28-year-old women to call the FBI. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
3 men are facing charges after a bust in Lake County, Illinois last night, thanks to an assist from a 4-legged officer.
The 911 call came in around 11 p.m. from someone who claimed a flatbed trailer they had rented was never returned. A GPS tracking device picked it up near an unincorporated Libertyville business. Lake County Sheriff's deputies responded to the area and spotted 2 people attempting to steal 2 skid steers by loading them onto that flatbed trailer. 56-year-old Corey Dismukes of Chicago and 45-year-old Emmanuel Harper of Milwaukee were taken into custody. And surveillance from the area determined a 3rd suspect was involved. Sheriff's K-9 Simba was called in to help, and a short time later, deputies to 35-year-old James Yancey of Chicago Heights, who was hiding in a nearby forest preserve. Charges against the trio include burglary and bodily theft. Any day.
Bohemian name. Bohemians were here 100 years ago.
Recent case in in central Illinois, in which a dismembered body was discovered out on Lake Mattoon. Prosecutors allege that the victim's half-brother stabbed him to death and that he and the victim's wife tried to dispose of the body in Lake Mattoon by using weights to drop the body to the bottom. However, boaters discovered a dismembered arm last month, leading to the arrest of the victim's half-brother and wife. A Maine Senate candidate is being accused of sexual assault.
A woman who previously dated Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner says he drunkenly forced her to have sex after she told him to stop in 2021. Jenny Rasicott told Politico that she'd been in an on and off relationship with Plattner, but says she cut off contact after that night and told him the incident was not consensual. Plattner posted a video on his social media campaign account saying,
"Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false."
Plattner has canceled a number of town halls.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward.
Plattner is seeking to unseat Maine's Republican Senator Susan Collins. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The World Cup has been a bonanza not
Pretty
only for
wild
the
out
North
here,
American cities hosting the matches, but for gambling.
Kalshi, the biggest of the prediction markets, saw more than $31 billion in volume in June, compared with $18 billion in May. Dune Analytics says that since the beginning of World Cup competition, Kalshi has handled $1 billion a day. Polling Market, which watched its volume fall in April and May, saw trading of $10.8 billion in June. By the way, France is Kalshi's odds-on favorite to win the 2026 World Cup. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Coming up, we'll look at low gasoline.
Alrighty. So you just seen, we did a little different today. We did a little bit of touring. We listened to some radio calls. We went over to One Night Overdose. They were already gone. If something comes up at night, we'll post it. You see, it's all abandoned here. But you see the differences in prices. We go one block, another block, it's only 300,000. You go to another block. We'll check out some of the addresses that we had on our video today. And we'll maybe do a little different reporting the next day. We'll see, depending on if I have time. But yeah, I'm gonna go watch the game. We're in North Lawndale. This is where are we at here? Kedzie and 16th Street. We'll take you over here to Douglas Park. We'll end over there. How about that? This is the one where they tried to kick out Riot Fist, I believe. I don't know if they were successful or not. But think about this. 10 years ago, when it was more black here, it was okay to have concerts, Riot Fests, and all these things that brought in people here, right? And they did whatever they want, and they had a party, loud music. Then when it got gentrified the last few years, look this up. Look it up. There's noise complaints. Behavior complaints. That's Douglas Park right there, I'm pretty sure. Right, and there you go. You got abandoned buildings here. Look at that. That has a 1.5 lot there. You see that? See that gray stone there? It's got 2 lots. You buy that, you get that, right? See that how that works over here? And you're right across from a park. Look at this land here. That might be a church rectory or something. See that there? Yeah, that's a church. Maybe you buy that church, convert it into condos. They do that too. So what happened is, most likely the same people that were coming to the concert said, hey, I like this area. It's a nice area, Douglas Park, right? It's close to downtown. Oh, did I show you that? I'll show you how close to downtown it is. We'll go on Ogden. We'll end on Ogden. How about that? I don't know what these are. Albany Park homes. I don't know. I think these might be. It's a gated community. Maybe a CHA housing. I have no idea. Is this CHA housing or low-income housing there right next to me? Albany Park housing. I'll have to look it up, right? So you had all these people that came in from the suburbs, maybe from other neighborhoods, wherever they are, and they came into this gritty neighborhood, right? Douglas Park. It's North Lawndale. It's in between Hispanic, heavily Hispanic immigrant community and African American community. You've seen the nice houses. I showed you the mansions, right? So it was rich at one time. Right? There's more here. See, there's more over there. Right. But then, when people started buying homes here, gentrifying, putting up townhomes and those kinds of things, people started complaining about these festivals here in the park. Look it up, Douglas Park complaints, right? We've been writing about those for years too. And so when the people started living here, they said, you know what? It's getting too loud. We don't want all these people coming in our neighborhood. And we want to get rid of these concerts. So it was okay. I'm telling you, it was an expensive neighborhood. You see that house? That's expensive. How do you know? Because those are round. See how they made the bricks look round? In the old days, those windows were round too. They replaced us with flat windows. But in the old days, those were round windows right there. Very expensive neighborhood. Very expensive. You couldn't afford to live here. I couldn't afford to live here in the old days. And we're talking maybe 100 years ago. And then when these gentrifiers move in, right? See, like this guy. Development Fund. See that there? We should look that up. Metacorp Development LLC. See that there? See that there? They come in and they said we can't have these. I gotta go over and get this focus work here. There we go. Right? Is that working again? Oh, sorry about that. It's me. I don't like to be on TV. They said we can't have these concerts and these people who drink booze and do drugs and whatever else they do at these riot fests or whatever concerts they have here. They had a bunch of them here, right? You actually can hear the concerts all the way by my house. And we're at, this is 16 South. I live on 37, so you're talking 21 blocks. What is that? Divided by 8? That's about 3 miles. So 3 miles away, because I'm on Damon also. Because I'm about a mile east and about 2.5 miles south. I could hear the music from here sometimes. Sometimes. Late at night. But when you have the gentrifiers that move in, they don't want that no more. And they get rid of it. So it kind of tells you what's happening in, especially in North Lawndale. Right? In some parts of the west side now. In some parts of the south side. If the working class come in, working regular people do, right? They work in factories, work service jobs, whatever they do. Maybe some lower level city, county, state jobs, maybe. Or contractor jobs or vendor jobs. You're okay. But once you start getting outsiders, people like Brandon Johnson, who don't care about what happened in the past, who lie about what happened in the past, who want to make as much money as they can in the little time they have on earth. And that's what they focus on, right? They focus on money rather than living a good life, being a good neighbor, being a good father, being a good husband, being a good resident. Then what do? They create the situation where they push the people out. Again, look it up. Look up concerts, look up Riot Fest, look up Douglas Park, look up the protests. There was no protest about this years ago. It was only about jobs. Make sure you hire our people. So now what did they do? They got rid of it, or gonna get rid of it. And guess what happens to all the local jobs that used to come with it? They're gone. So you get two things happen. The original residents that lived there had to suffer through concerts, drugs, and booze. And some of them might have moved out. And the people who tolerated it stayed. And they say, you know what, we can make a little money off of this stuff, right? We can be a vendor, maybe I'll work there as security, whatever. Maybe I'll be an artist. I know a few artists that went into those shows. They put their art up in those places. They stick around. And what did the gentrifiers do? Say, you know what, we're not going to have these concerts and this kind of stuff in our neighborhood anymore because we don't like it. Even though we're the ones that came here from the suburbs that watched it from the beginning. But concerts are not useful to us no more. It did what we needed it to do. And that's what happened here. Look it up. Look up Douglas Park, look up Riot Fest, look up protest, look up all that stuff. Look at who did what, when did it happen, how did it happen, the times. That's the way I do my reporting. SubX.News, on the spot reporting. That's about it. We'll end here, right? Because it's really gentrified this way. This is the medical district over there. There's a good graffiti here if they didn't whitewash. Oh, they cleaned all the graffiti up. There used to be a really nice graffiti over there, right there on that corner. It's gone. And this is an abandoned factory here. And I'll show you how it works, right? They allow graffiti on one side, but not on the other side. See that there? They let the graffiti happen on the buildings that they want to get rid of. They're kind of tags, right? See that there? I think this guy still operates though. This land next to us was abandoned for a long time. There was a business here I used to go get my coffee from, and they're closed. So this is starting to be, it's going to be now land rush. They're going to build a lot of homes here, and they're going to finish off the gentrification, which will be about 10 years. All right, take it easy, everybody. It's 6:46 p.m. We're signing off. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.